All right, guys, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the Saturday podcast. Of course, this is the kind of podcast that we'll eventually have guests on, but it's not there yet. I'm looking forward to it, but of course, we're just myself and Jay.
Hi, guys.
We got some. We always do a little story time,
Story
talk about some
time.
stuff, and then of course we wanted to your super chats. So super chat me away, please. Lots and lots and lots of questions. Really, really appreciate it. We'll go ahead and answer anything that you guys have on your mind.
That's right, baby.
And, and we are, like I said, we're super excited when we can start having guests. As a matter of fact, Jay and myself work diligently hard. You can see on Jay's Instagram. I think I posted something on my Instagram as well about the basement kind of coming together, and we kind of slept on it. We did the control room, camera room. We did the podcast room.
Things that needed to be done, right? Like we needed them done.
Yep. And then the rest of the basement just was, and then of course we did the colubrid room for brumation down here. And then the rest of the place was just kind of just piled up tools and dirty and stuff. Finally, we cleaned the place out. We painted it up. We're putting flooring in today. We're about halfway done with the flooring. So it went from looking like a construction zone to now starting to look like a New York apartment building,
it's so cool to see it transform like almost overnight. You know?
And I think that if everything goes well, tomorrow by the latest Monday, we'll have all of the guts put together where it's like, the flooring's in, the molding's up, everything's painted, and then we just have to get some couches. We got it's so that again, you'll see it in the vlog and stuff like that, but the idea is to have some couches. Like we're gonna have like a popcorn machine.
It's gonna be so badass.
We're gonna have a fish tank down here. We're gonna have 2 TVs out there so that we can watch like Netflix or whatever we want to chill. But also if someone comes in for the podcast and brings guests with them, they can sit out there and watch the podcast live as we're actually going. We've also talked about doing the VIP thing.
Yes, sir.
Lori was not interested in it. I still think it would be a really cool thing. So that
Saturday's our day anyway. So
it would be Saturday night, and there'd be like whatever tickets would be. I was thinking like $50 or something like that. Maximum like 5 people, and you'd be able to come in, maybe hang out for like a half hour before the podcast, just chill with us and BS. Then you can have some drinks and pizza, whatever the case may be, popcorn, watch the podcast, then hang out with us a little bit after, and then spend some time at the Reptile because Saturday night we're open. Podcast usually ends by about 7, so you'd have a couple hours at the Reptile. So kind of a night out, you know what I mean? Like a night,
and that's a great thing too, because $50 if you had 5 people, that's dumb inexpensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to have a whole night where you get some, not like we're gonna have gourmet food, but you'd have
some Little Caesars, baby.
Yeah, some Little Caesars. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
No, baby. But whatever. I mean, I just think it'd be a cool night, and I always think that it's tough because obviously I sit back and think, why would people want to pay to be hanging out with us?
We just bust your slaps.
But I do think that like if I could do that with some of the people that I really admire, I would spend $500 a person to go do it, so I don't know. I mean, again,
you'll have fun with us. We're crazy as hell.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have a Pac-Man machine out there too. We're gonna have it's not just Pac-Man. It's gonna be a tabletop console Pac-Man machine, but it can do like the one I'm getting. It has like 1,100 games.
I bet you there's
it.
Dig Dug on there, and I'm gonna mess y'all up.
Oh my God, there's like 1,100 games.
My mama taught me how to play that.
So you can be playing the console game. You could be watching the podcast, hanging out, whatever the case is. I don't care. So anyway, so that's so we've been working on that. You can check that out on Instagram on our stories, see how that's coming along. It's pretty good. So hopefully guests, as life is slowly getting back to normal, and it's pretty cool. I've seen some like things on TV commercials recently that are starting to make it seem like
life's going to come back.
Yeah, like life is
going
to, like I saw a Enterprise rental car commercial yesterday, and it said, as life starts to return to normal and people are starting to venture out again.
No way. That's like making me cry right now, dude.
And it was a really great commercial. And it says, everyone's going to do it at their own pace, but we're here when you're ready.
Damn, that makes me cry, bro.
And so you haven't really heard much of that. Obviously I love the fact that tomorrow the Super Bowl has 22,000 people in attendance.
Stand up.
That's going to be pretty epic. And I know that a bunch of concerts are starting to book for June and July.
Get out. I haven't been to a concert in like years, so I'm ready, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be so hopefully, God willing, that'll happen, and then we can start having guests and stuff like that. And I don't know, I do want to definitely have a diverse amount of guests on the podcast, but I also do want to have a lot of snake talk. I know you guys like the snake talk, and so do we, obviously. So I think that I don't want to get straight too far away from that, but we'll see how things go. Like I said, we'll just wait to see what happens. But in the meantime, like I said, I appreciate you guys already are super chatting me, so I'll be answering your questions. And I know a lot of people had mentioned before that they really loved the stories of kind of, the old African ball python stories.
It's my favorite.
And, it was definitely the Wild Wild West, backing all the way up to where, back in the original Orlando reptile shows, probably the second reptile show in Orlando. It went from a place called Howard Johnson's to the Twin Towers. It was at the Twin Towers for about 10 or 11 years before it ultimately moved to Daytona. But I think it was the second year I met Emmanuel Noah. A lot of people just know him as Noah from Africa, and he was from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. And he was actually the Minister of Forestry there, but as you can imagine, in many African countries, the government is pretty corrupt, and he was definitely a pretty corrupt individual. He's still kind of a friendish of mine. I mean, we had good times and bad times, and we did great deals together, and he screwed me a lot. It's like, but he actually, he did have family. As a matter of fact, I think that his wife at one point ran for a senator spot in Florida. She was an attorney, and I think she lived in Florida. I think she still lives in Florida. So he had a place in Florida and had a place in Accra, Ghana. And so he came to that show with a number of ball pythons, like a bag of ball pythons. And I to this day, I remember going up to his room and him dumping out a bag of ball pythons. And I think I bought, maybe there was like 20 babies. And I think I bought one or two that were really cool. But I wish I could take a screenshot of those 20 ball pythons. Because I know there was some heat in there. I know there was some heat in there. But this was so early in the game, we didn't know there was no.
You didn't know what heat was, because that's determined by a market, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know anything about. There was no pastels, there was no spiders, there was no pinstripes, there was no clowns, there was none of that stuff at that point. And so, I'm sure, I remember I bought one that he called a goblin ball python. Turned out that it wasn't genetic and never was able to prove it out. But I mean, I could have probably bought all 20 of those ball pythons for, maybe $1,500, and I think I bought like 2 of them for like $100 a piece or something like that. And I don't know that, I don't think either one of them ever proved out. I think one was like a striped animal. And early on, the striped ball pythons were kind of like the rage. You really had like striped, and you had what they call type A jungle ball pythons, which a guy named Jamie Quick basically was the one that termed them that. And neither one of those, striped or now genetic stripe proved out with Bob Clark, but
that specific stripe didn't prove out.
But the actual like dorsal striping, to this day, there is no real. I mean, like cypress does do some dorsal striping, but it's not considered a stripe. It's considered a cypress, and certainly some other mutations have some striping in it and stuff like that. But there's still have yet to been like just kind of a
solid
a
one stripe.
Striped ball python. Again, tri-stripes, genetic stripes, cypress, stuff like that. But nevertheless, point is that all that early on stuff ended up turning out to just be nothing. But cool looking ball pythons. So we didn't really even know what we were looking for. But that was kind of my first, entrance into Africa. Was meeting Emmanuel Noah in Orlando, coming friends with him, and then ultimately we decided after a couple years of buying stuff from him, and there was actually a guy named Joe Fossey who I told the story before, ironically enough, just went to school with at like the University of Florida or Florida State or something like that. And they were roommates in a dorm. Emmanuel Noah came to here to do his university, and him and Joe were both, like Noah didn't mind reptiles, but I don't think he was a reptile guy. He just came from Africa, Accra, Ghana, and Joe was like a big reptile guy. So I think they kind of, and there was like, hey, wait a second, you're from Africa, let's import ball pythons. And next thing you know, that's what happened. And I told the story before that if it wasn't for that relationship, Joe Fossey was the one that talked Noah into collecting wild caught gravid females and hatching eggs. rather than sending over. Prior to that, you just got wild-caught ball pythons were sent over, and they were terrible. I mean, 99% of them didn't survive. They wouldn't eat. They were terrible animals. And if it wasn't for that relationship with Joe Fossey and Emmanuel Noah, we wouldn't have the ball python trade that we have now today. And so it started off with Noah just producing maybe a couple hundred babies a year. And then ultimately, fast forward maybe 10, 12 years when the ball python world really started to pop, there was over 120,000 baby ball pythons being hatched over in Africa in facilities that were actually collecting gravid females, hatching the babies and so on like that. So anyways, the point is that when things started popping and I started buying stuff from Joe Fossey because I met Noah, and then Noah, of course, told me that he was exporting all his stuff to Joe Fossey. And so I used to go down to the Tampa area where Joe was and every year and go visit his facility when he got in his 200 or 300 ball pythons, and I would choose through stuff. And I often say that's where I got my first clown ball python was from Joe Fossey. It was a big female that was... ironically enough, I bred her to an albino first, and I produced double het albino clowns before I even had clowns.
Isn't
that
crazy?
Else. And then, of course, Tracy Barker and Dave from VPI produced out clowns, and then we produced albino clowns the same year we produced clowns. Which was interesting.
Just the way it lined up, right? With the recessives and stuff.
Just because that was all I had to breed them to, But then I started to mingle in Africa itself, starting to make connections in West Africa outside of Noah, because Noah, of course, was kind of the strong arm in Accra. Of course, there was a couple other guys. There was a guy named Jimmy Akwanda and, a few other guys that were pretty major dealers and had been dealing in ball pythons for many, many years in Accra, Ghana. But then you had, it was pretty easy once you started making these connections to find out who all the players were, right? And so in Lomé, Togo, there was Eric Fouchard, who was the main guy over in Lomé, and still is to this day. And really, these players are still the same players today as they were back then. It hasn't changed that much. So we got, you got to know Eric Fouchard, and I got his contact information and started talking to him. And hey, if you have something cool, let me know. Blah 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 blah. And then ultimately, Patrice was the big player in Benin, which Benin had the largest quota, and so a lot of animals were coming out of Benin that were really, really cool. A lot of the mutations and stuff like that. But then sometimes stuff would come out of Accra, not because Accra was doing. As a matter of fact, I think they had the lowest quota, but animals were traveling from Benin to Togo back to Ghana because the money was kind of in Ghana at the time. And so it was pretty interesting to, slowly put those names together. Like, all right, now I've got the three big guys, really, Jimmy Akwanda, four guys, I guess, Jimmy Akwanda, Emmanuel Noah, Eric Fouchard, and Patrice. And then you started to find like their people.
Yeah, their little crew, right?
Like their guys, guys like BM Banu, and there was a guy named Edward, and just the list goes on. And so I started getting in touch with all these guys, and they were all kind of looking out for me, and we created this little network of people in all three of the countries that were exporting ball pythons. And I wouldn't say I got every call, but I got most of the calls, right? When something cool popped up, I'd say probably 90% of the time I would get the phone call like, hey, I got this really cool ball python. Again, before the internet, so you couldn't get pictures or anything like that. So I would have to send over, and I would have to, figure out who was going to actually ship. So if it was in Lomé, I would get Eric Fouchard to ship. If it was in Benin, we'd get Patrice to ship. And of course, if it was in Ghana, I would get either Jimmy Akwanda or Emmanuel Noah to ship, and it really over several years worked out to be a pretty crazy thing, you know what I mean? And it just kept growing and growing. And I tell you what, Jay, you'll laugh about this.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of money, I was still growing my business and stuff like that. And every year I would take a mortgage on my house.
No.
To go into the ball python season.
Hell yeah.
Every
dude.
single
That's
year,
commitment, bro.
Yeah, I would take
huge.
like, maybe it was like 80 grand I would be able to take out of my house. And then the idea was, let's pay that 80 grand back so that next year I could take it out again, And so we would buy and we would keep some stuff, and then we would sell enough stuff to hopefully pay our money back. You know what I mean? Like get that loan back. I still can't believe that Lori let me do that shit.
Multiple times. I mean? Like that's fucking
years,
crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. That's a huge step, right? Especially like, I mean, I'm sure at this point, were you crushing it with colubrids at this point, or was it still kind of like an early day?
Colubrids were, we were producing quite a bit of colubrids, but colubrids were really cheap. There wasn't a lot of money in colubrids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like to be like, hey, trust me, I know there's not a lot of money in these, but there might be money in these. Like that's
well, that's
huge.
the always thing that people don't understand is that Lori has really allowed me to do things that probably 99.9% of wives would never allow, because it just, it's.
But that's also why you have the life you have is because you took those risks and stuff. You know?
I think that we've always kind of portrayed Lori, I think, on the vlog and as
the naysayer,
the naysayer, right? And she is. I mean, she really does. Like, she's the yin to my yang.
Yeah, because we are crazy.
Yeah,
because we'll be like, oh, dude, let's get an elephant tomorrow. Yeah.
And so she kind of keeps me in check, but she always. Seems to support decisions that are, I mean, some of the things we've done over the years have been wild, I mean, like really radical. And she's always supported me through it, and she doesn't really. I mean, I was surprised today, right, that she came downstairs. We're working on the basement, and I kind of threw it out there. I had never really talked to her. I said, "Hey, we're going to have a popcorn machine here.
Pac-Man
There's going to be
machine.
there's a Pac-Man machine. We're going to have a refrigerator."
And
over
really,
here.
she was just like, "Nobody better be down here fucking off."
All she said was, I just hope that the crew doesn't come down here during my time and do nothing, and you better keep it clean.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the end of it.
And that's fair.
And I thought to myself, well, I thought as soon as I started talking about Pac-Man
yeah, she's like, Brian, you ain't getting a fucking Pac-Man.
You get no Pac-Man machine down here. What the hell are you thinking? But for me, I think it's like one of those things that, at the end of a long day, normally maybe I'd go home. Maybe this will give us an opportunity to chill a little bit.
Yeah, have a place to like hang out that doesn't feel like you're at work necessarily.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure there will be. I mean, Jay and I both said this. There'll be days I'll probably spend the night here. I mean, I'm probably gonna. There. As a matter of fact, tonight, I hope I have enough time because I'm doing another podcast tonight with my buddy Jason at
Mixed Morphology.
Mixed Morphology. I always say that Mixed Morphology. What is it?
It's morph mixology.
Morph mixology.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll mess that up all night long.
Yeah.
So I may not have a chance, but like last Saturday, I was here till like 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
I'd like to be here till 11 o'clock tonight, switching ball pythons as well. But I think I'm going to have to go home to do that podcast, so I might miss it. So, anyways, my point is, if I was going to be here till 11 o'clock at night, I might as well just crash here. Because I'm going to be back here at 8 o'clock in the morning again.
And now to have like a TV that you can watch a couple movies, go to
exactly.
sleep.
Now go to whatever, play some Pac-Man or Galaga.
Yeah. Dude,
like
Galaga.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll talk more about ball pythons and stuff like that. Let's hit some super chats because I know they're rolling in.
Yeah, you got it.
We don't want to get too deep, too far away, and we'll get some supers. You guys can keep on going. Mac, of course, always starts it off.
He always starts it off, man. Our boy Mac. He threw $5 for love. We appreciate
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Of course, one of our mods. And
Let Roses Burn.
Is Mac coming out sometime?
I hope he does. I mean, we haven't really
I know we
talked to him.
talked about maybe the September barbecue, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If that happens, I'm sure a lot of these folks will come out and hang out with us. But I haven't talked to Max specifically about him coming out, though.
Okay, so
he should.
Hopefully he will.
Our girl, Let Roses Burn, coming in quick second with the $5 love.
Yeah, we love you, man. We
appreciate
Thank you so much. You're always amazing to us.
Clistia says, hello, Brian and Jay. Much love.
Hey, what's going on, Clistia?
love.
Appreciate ya.
Tyler King, our boy, says, Jay, check your DMs on IG. I sent a pic of the scrubby. Oh, sweet. I'll pull that up in just a second, brother.
Oh, you got a scrubby, do you?
Yeah, he's lucky. I love scrubs, man.
Yeah,
They're
scrubs
cool.
are great. I mean, they're really
little mean
beautiful.
sometimes.
Sometimes they can be a little bit cantankerous. But
And they got real big, sharp teeth, too, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. They got quite a vicious bite, So when you do get bit,
I think I've seen 2 collections that had scrubs, and both times an employee was bleeding from a scrub.
Yeah.
So it happens.
I've messed with a few of them that have been pretty chill. But I tell you, my buddy Chris Smith down in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia, has a giant, he calls it Kraken, the Kraken. And this thing is legitimately like 15 foot.
No way. They get that big?
Oh my!
I know that's a big one.
I'm talking like this is a giant.
Now, how
giant.
thick do they get? Because like, are they like a carpet
like,
or?
Oh my gosh, no, way thicker.
Oh, get the hell out.
It's like sunrise.
No,
like
dude.
a sunrise
scrubby,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I think I wish I could pull it up, but I won't. It's not worth the time.
No, it's okay. But Danky Johnny 420.
For some reason, my headphones just went out.
You can't hear at all?
I can hear just barely out of one side, actually.
I don't know why that would be. Do you
weird.
think it would be? I could check in a second. I'll come run in there and see.
No, it's okay. I mean, I don't know if it's. I shouldn't have unplugged.
Let me see. While you're doing that, I'll read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I can hear a little bit. So it's just
that's
something
weird.
that's real weird.
Danky Johnny said, "Sup guys, you guys catching the UFC fights tonight?" Didn't even know they were.
Just too busy. Don't. I haven't really caught UFC fights in a while. To
Yeah,
be
me
totally
neither.
honest with you. So
Anthony will be, I'm sure, but
yeah. Oh, Anthony, he's in it.
He loves UFC. I mean, he'll
okay.
geek out, dude. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that's wild.
Roberta says, sending much love. Can't wait to visit one day.
I hope you can.
Curtis, negative 35 degrees here in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. Yeah, keep me out of there, man.
No, that's we're getting some pretty cold weather here coming up here pretty soon. But right now we're good.
Now that's Celsius though, right? They do Celsius up there, right?
Oh well,
You tell me down below.
Well,
Curtis.
listen, if it was Celsius, it'd be worse.
No, would it? I thought
Yeah.
it was like because Celsius is usually like zero.
But
would be.
But you got to remember that.
Does it go in the other way
yeah,
too?
like 35 degrees. Yeah, both ways. I mean, 35 degrees is like. I mean, it's bad. That's bad.
That sounds terrible, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what the conversion rate is, but minus 35 is bad.
Lever's Burns says, "Do you know Mark O'Shea? I met him years back at a Hamburg show. He was very nice."
Mm-hmm. I hung out with Mark a few times.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I've hung out with him a few times. He's a you can pull it up, Mark O'Shea. He's an old animal adventure guy. As you're pulling it up, I'm going to check my headphones and see if it's
yeah, you got it. Oh, I've seen this guy before. Hell yeah. Interesting. Look at that here with a Cayman. Damn, that guy looks crazy. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one dude that stands on the street in New York City.
Aha, I'm back.
You're back, baby?
Yeah, just I think my
just you think maybe pulled a little bit or something?
Yeah, maybe something. I don't know. What
this
happened.
Our boy here?
Yep, that's Mark O'Shea.
Dude,
yeah, so he had a show on Animal Planet for several years. Can't remember what it was called though, to be totally honest with you. But doesn't matter. He was, he's a good dude, man. I hung out with him a bunch, drank a lot.
O'Shea's Big Adventure?
Big Adventures. Yeah, probably something like that.
There's a couple, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple there. But he was, he's a good dude. Still doing some stuff over in the UK. I don't know if he's doing TV anymore. I think he said he was done with TV. But yeah, no, I mean, I hung out with him a few times. Like I said, real nice guy, but like I said, he got hammered a bunch when I was hanging out with him. I mean, he was like
getting trashed.
He was getting trashed. I mean, he was like all about it. But a real, genuinely nice guy. Liked him. Thing that was nice about him was that he was not about like faking anything.
Right.
Like
right.
He would have a show where he was like, "Hey, I'm going to try to catch a mamba," and then he was just like, "We didn't find a mamba."
Oh, okay.
And
so
it's like the end of the show.
Super UK, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like that's a UK thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that.
I do
because,
too.
With people that don't know, like when I was on Discovery's Venom Hunters, like, you would go out and be like, hey, we got to catch a eastern brown snake. And we would spend 8 hours trying to find an eastern brown snake. But we also had a guy with an eastern brown snake in a tub.
In case you didn't
in
find
case we didn't find one. And then he'd be like, all right, we're going to let that go. And because at the end of the day, they needed the eastern brown snake to get caught,
Exactly.
And some stuff we caught, some stuff we planted, I mean, that's just television.
That is literally TV.
Yeah. And like Steve Irwin, I think was the one that kind of really started that heavily, right? He was the one that like probably rarely caught much, right?
Yeah, it was just like,
I mean,
let's bring a
I'm
cobra
sure there
out
were,
here.
yeah, I'm sure there were times where he was out and it's like, oh shit, we came across something, let's go ahead and do it. Because I don't think he was afraid of catching anything. But he also understood that production meant that, instead of spending 4 days trying to catch a black mamba, they could do it in 3 hours.
Yeah, and now you can film 12 shows in the time you take to film 2.
Yeah, and I think he was one of the first guys to kind of do that. And then there was a whole bunch of, shows that followed, not only animal type, presenter shows, but also, even there was a show called on Animal Planet right after Planet Earth. It was called like Reptiles in the Dark or something like that.
Okay.
And they every single animal, it was all shot in like California.
Yeah, and they'll do like sets, right?
Yep, it was all shot.
I actually love that. I've seen, especially with animals that are a little smaller, you can do some really cool stuff with sets.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some I've seen, some of the stuff with like even some of the BBC stuff, like the really beautiful stuff where they've done a set for like wolves with like a den,
Oh my God,
like
yeah, and it comes out so good because the lighting
could
can be great and all that, so it looks so surreal.
So, but yeah, that's the way that stuff goes. But Mark was not that down with that at all, and I remember the last thing that happened with Mark was he got bit in the foot by a king cobra.
Ooh,
because he was part of the genome sequencing for king cobras.
Wow, that's crazy.
Maybe 5 years ago, and he works at a place with king cobras, and he got bitten the shoe, and then they had to medevac him out, but it turned out that he didn't get envenomated.
Oh, good.
And
good.
And there it was a whole deal that I think that he was like not happy about because the media did
played
whatever.
it up and all that
yeah,
shit.
And he was like, oh, it's no big deal or whatever. But speaking of king cobras, I saw the video today with Kevin with Lilith, and she's looking better.
Yeah, no, I seen that. She looks a lot better. That's so cool.
Yeah,
man.
so hopefully she's going to be okay.
Because that's a special animal, and like that would be a terrible thing for it to die from something stupid, know?
Yeah, I hope it goes well, but yeah.
Our boy Brandon Gramlin threw $20 for love. I would assume he has a chat somewhere. I'll try looking for it.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it, brother.
Chad Strickland says, Brian, my wife and I, along with our friends, are coming to do a tour with you in March.
Wow.
We're excited to come see everything. And also, Jay, check your DMs. I already did. So.
Well, awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. We'll look forward to giving you the tour of the place.
Yeah, you'll have so much fun.
Yeah, we always have a blast, and
And having people that watch the podcast is always nice too.
Yeah, and because
you're
in the podcast, we can bring you down. Remind me, when you come to the tour, we'll bring you down and show you the new room, and by then we should have
everything kind of done.
the green room all completely done, and the chill space down here, and come hang out with us. Be great.
V-Dog says, you had Brother Clint on.
Yes.
It was so interesting. I wondered if you enjoyed it and if you're going to have him on again soon.
He messaged me about a week ago. I hadn't talked to him in a little bit, and he just reached out to me, and I'd like to have him on again.
Yeah, he was a great guest.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, and again, that was before the podcast room, and so I'd love to have him back in a better setting and get more in depth with what he had to say.
Unfortunately, we couldn't dig out the floor, so he'll still have to duck a little bit.
Yeah,
he's a tall folk.
He's a tall dude. Yeah, he's a tall dude, but he's a really nice guy and very knowledgeable. I took a lot out of it, so
I did too.
I enjoyed that, and I want more guests like that. That's kind of the idea going, long term, is to bring on more interesting guests that have. I mean, there's so many things that I'm so interested in that I think would be really interesting to talk about, but you
just got to find the right people to talk about those things.
Yeah, and we have to be in a position, to do it. I mean, still at this point, bringing guests in is a little bit tricky, and Michigan is pretty tight on things too. I had someone here from Florida today on a tour, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh, it's terrible in Michigan."
You're like, you live in North Korea.
Yeah, it's like so repressive. I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, there's restrictions everywhere. We just had restaurants open up here just a couple days ago. It's only 25, I think 20% capacity. But you still have to wear masks everywhere and stuff like that. So it's just not quite ready for that type of thing. And then hopefully we'll see where the podcast goes. I think there'll be two things that happens. I think that we'll evolve a lot with this podcast. And then we're going to do a lot more podcasts of other people's podcasts, not necessarily in the reptile world, but more in the YouTube world, trying to expose people to the thing I like about podcasting is that it's long form. You get to really know someone. You can explain something. You can really get to know them. And like I've said, when we did a lot of collabing in the past with YouTubers, whether it was the Ireland Brothers or David Dobrik or Logan Paul or you name the people that we used to deal with, you're always just in their video for a minute and a half, and maybe they're telling their people like, hey, go follow them, but do people really buy into?
Is that 1 minute going to get them to follow you?
Right. Yeah. And so now if you're on, say Impulsive with Logan Paul, and you're on there for an hour, people are really going to either say, I really like this guy and I want to invest my time into watching him and following him on his podcast and so on and forth, or they're going to say, I have no interest in that guy. But
they'll know.
You're going to get genuine followers one way or another. So that's one of the things I talked with one of my managers about just last week, is about doing a lot of podcasting on other channels about animals, that aren't animal channels,
Yeah.
And I don't do a lot of Reptile. Like I said, tonight we're going to be doing a podcast at 9:00 with my buddy Jason. Probably only be like an hour podcast or so. I kind of asked him to let's keep it short, just because it's been a long day, and by the time we get going with that, it's going to be even longer, and then I have a long day tomorrow, quite frankly. So, but I don't do a lot of Reptile podcasts. It's not because I don't want to. It's just that I find that. And this is please don't take it as a bash. It's just, to me, like most Reptile podcasts are all the same. They recycle the same guests, and I'm the same thing. I'd be a recycled guest that would be on every Reptile podcast. And I don't know that I have anything more to say on their podcast than I do on my own podcast. Or
yeah.
If I did 5 Reptile podcasts, all 5 of them would be almost exactly the same.
Yeah, especially that first one too, because it's like more of like an introduction to you, and it's like you're gonna say the same shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I've been dealing with ball pythons and snakes, and you know what I mean.
Whereas when I'm doing our podcast, like now, it's like you guys are now 50 podcasts in, or maybe this podcast you're only 10 in or whatever.
But all in all, I mean, you're talking about almost 100 podcasts.
Yeah. So you can you were deep in. You're going to get into much more deeper into things, than
because we can't talk about the same thing every week. It would be boring. So
yeah. So but anyways, point is that's why. And again, I'm not against doing other. There's still a couple Reptile podcasts I will certainly do if I get asked to do. But also my time is so
sparse
right now. I mean, it's just like you really have time. Urgency is become a major issue in my life, and you've got to really pick and choose. So it's like I don't want to be like, oh, I'll do your podcast, but I won't do your podcast, and then people get upset at me and stuff like that. So I'm kind of avoiding most of them, to be honest with you. But Jason's a good friend of ours, and he's done us some favors, so I wanted to come on. I had a great time when I was on Billy from Mutation Creations podcast as well. So, but yeah. So anyways, back to that.
Yeah, Jack says, Brian, will you get an albino tegu?
We were just talking about getting that. I think that, can you pull up like a blue ice tegu? I was talking about like maybe getting something like this. I don't know
I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's like that more so.
Yeah, a little bit more like that.
But prettier probably.
But yeah, they're really pretty. The good ones are really good. But you can also do albino blue eyes.
Is that kind of like what it is with that little tint of blue, almost like the Cuban rock iguana?
Yeah, it's like a polygenically bred blue, like Taz,
Yeah,
but if
beautiful.
You punch in albino, and that just albino blue eyes.
Oh, albino blue eyes.
Yeah, see if there's these are really cool. So there's a couple people down that are.
Is it this one?
Yeah, you can punch in that one. That's fine. I mean, there's some pretty cool ones.
Yeah,
so we're talking about getting another tegu.
They're great animals, man.
Because what it is at the Reptarium, we're really gearing up for educational shows. We're already really busy with tours, and we're starting to do some zoo to use. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I told you, Jay, this is another thing that makes me feel great about the summer. We had a summer camp book 6 dates.
No way.
This summer for us to come out and do camps with kids.
At like a zoo to use.
Yeah, zoo to use.
Wow.
And so we're really working hard at trying to grow that part of the Reptarium, more outreach, so we're going to, schools, libraries, birthday parties, camps, whatever the case may be. And so we're probably going to need more animals that are habituated and socialized than what we have here at the Reptarium, because we might be doing 2 or 3 events at the same time, right? And so we definitely were talking about getting, what are we going to get, and we're talking about getting another tegu. So I think I will get one.
Chris Stink says, I hope I'm not saying that wrong because I've said it every time and it sounds horrible.
You always say that.
Yeah. Andrew and I want to say thank you for inspiring us. Together, we sold our first hognose and created the company House of Hiss, LLC.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congrats, dude.
I like it. House of Hiss is a good name. That's a good name. I wish you all of the success in the world. Just stay passionate, stay into it, and I'm sure you'll do great.
Sox Arizona says, just a gold star for you, Brian.
Nice.
You got a gold star for today.
I need a little sticker on my head.
You do. V-Dog said, you often talk to snakes when you're handling them. Yeah. Can they hear, and where are their ears?
So I always tell people this is that, I just made
we just talked about it.
I just made a post about this the other day. Talking to snakes probably doesn't make a lot of sense. They do have an inner ear. They do sense vibration. They don't hear like we hear.
They don't have a complex hearing.
Yeah, they don't. So they have like a little bone that actually will vibrate. So they're gonna hear tones. They're gonna hear vibrations,
but more like.
They're not gonna hear like words and stuff like that. So it's more, I made fun of the fact that I baby talk a lot of my animals and stuff like that. And I know some people would probably be like, "Bro, you're a jerk."
I disagree,
but I mean that's just what I am. I mean, it's just like I would baby talk, a puppy. These are my puppies to me. These are, and I'm not gonna. Maybe some people don't like the fact that I do that, but
here's the thing though, Brian, is that think about it from an outside perspective. That's probably why you've gotten so many people over their fear of reptiles, is because you're talking to them and familiar how people talk to their dogs. Yeah. So you're like, oh my God, it's striking at him, and he's like, oh, who's a good cheeky little girl,
Yeah.
And it's like that's important because it breaks that barrier of scary.
Right.
If you were like, "What up, badass? How you doing today?" It's like
killer.
Yeah, it's like no, we talk to it cute because it makes people realize these aren't dangerous.
And that's the thing. I look at reptiles and I think they're cute.
Me too.
I think they're adorable. I never look at a reptile as like a mean, scary animal. So, but and then I do wonder. I do really wonder because there's no doubt. I mean, today it's so, and I realize Bella, the rhino iguana, does have ears, unlike snakes. But I had talked to my tour that was here earlier from Florida, and I was just talking. They had no idea you could train a reptile.
Right.
They had no idea. And I went up to Bella, and she was in the back of her cage, and I'm like, "Come here, Bells," and she literally just comes right up to me, just right to the front of the cage, and comes up, and it's like they're like, "Oh my God, that
it blows your mind."
Came to its name.
Yeah.
And of course, she only really does that for me.
Yeah, only for Brian. I've tried doing it for half an hour and it won't happen.
Yeah, so she obviously, reptiles and so you wonder if snakes have that same sense as well. I mean, maybe they don't hear the same way. Maybe they want, but maybe they have the senses that I really do believe they know the difference between, like, I think Ivy acts differently towards me than she does towards anybody else,
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. I mean, look at, Drogo is another animal, obviously not a reptile, but today I was in there with my tour and it was Drogo was doing great, and then all of a sudden I kind of pushed it a little bit too far, and then he like tried to bite me, and listen, it's not like he's gonna bite me. I mean, he just like is threat displaying and stuff like that. And Jay walks in and literally touches his mouth with his hand, and Drogo just sits there like nothing. So
isn't it wild?
It's weird how different animals react differently to different people.
Justin Boyd threw $3 for love.
Thanks, Justin.
Simple Man threw $5 for the love. Appreciate you.
Simple Man. You're such a simple man.
So simple. Boyd actually came back and said, just send some love.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all you guys, really. I mean, you guys make this thing possible, and I appreciate it.
So true. Soulless Honky says, just send in some love from the cold, dark Northwest. That sounds so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We do have to get back up to did you know we had someone in from Idaho?
No.
Yeah, this morning. Someone came from Idaho. Well, I talked to him about the fact that we were just in Idaho, though, and how amazing Idaho is. I think it's a very underrated
Was it the birthday
state.
Party or?
No, it was the tour before.
Dreadlocks?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It was the one before mine. Jay's first tour. Yeah, Jay's tour this morning was actually from Idaho.
Creme de la Crotch Exotic says, what up, fellas? You guys make the best tandem. I genuinely look forward to this podcast every week. Sending the Royal Hemp packages over on Monday. What's that? That sounds delicious.
Oh, Royal Hemp packages.
Yeah, is it Royal Ball Pythons and hemp? Or what's the deal, bro?
I'm not sure what's going on with that, but
I don't know.
That's interesting. Well, we look forward to that. Speaking of something really exciting that's coming in on Monday.
Ooh, the things?
Our coloring books are going to be
I'm so excited. I'm taking one home, baby.
No,
Dad, listen.
No. You can't have one. I'm sorry. There's only 400 available.
Make a coloring book fun so I can buy them, please.
So we had some people sent us some really incredible shirts first off, and we're doing some design work with them now on some new stuff. And really talented, really good. And I got to show you, Jay. As a matter of fact,
talented, but also efficient too. Good company. So take a lesson. Break through the front door, but also highly deliver on everything.
Yeah, she sent me over a design that is the thing I like about them is they're whimsical.
Yeah,
as well as there's some
some realism to it, but also they're nice and.
But she
surreal.
sent me over. I'll have to send before you leave. Let me show you. Unfortunately, I don't have it on my phone. But she made a space snakes design. Space snakes it's dope, man.
I cannot wait to see that.
It's just a really cool design. So they made us coloring books.
Oh, that's a good idea. And, it's like we should play off the words of like Space Force.
Yeah, Space Force
and Snakes Force.
Snakes Force.
There we go.
But so there's going to be some really cool more news on that coming up. What we're doing with that whole thing, I'm really hoping it's going to be something special. So we'll see how it goes. But the coloring book is going to be here Monday, and I saw the cover. I've seen the cover, but I haven't seen the book.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a surprise. So I'm pretty excited about what it's going to look like when it gets here.
The Beast says, much love from Manitoba, Canada. How are the Viper Boys doing?
Doing good. We're just getting breeding them now and really, very fat and ready to breed, So this week we start breeding a bunch of different boas, so we'll start breeding our sand boas. We'll start breeding our Brazilian rainbow boas. We start breeding our Viper boas. I'm excited about this week. And then I think about 10, 12 days from now, we'll bring colubrids out of hibernation.
Oh, get out that soon, huh?
So then things start to get, for the people that are like, you're getting, your videos are getting boring.
Yeah, it'll start heating up
It'll start heating up because we got colubrids out. Then eggs start coming. Obviously, leopard geckos are going to come out at the same time. So leopard gecko eggs start brewing. Baby season isn't too far off. We'll start getting ball python eggs here in less than 40 days.
Egg time jingles and all that.
Egg time jingles and all kinds of stuff. So it'll start to heat up. It is tough. Making a daily vlog is difficult during this time of the year. This is the time of the year.
Us,
this is the time of year that's a struggle, and I realize it can get boring, and it's probably even more so that we don't travel now,
And last year during this time we built the Reptarium and all that stuff. So like we had stuff that carried us through. This year it was literally like just us figuring stuff out.
Yeah, just here at the Reptarium and here at BHB and so it's a little bit tough, but hang in there with us.
Yeah, and thank you for hanging in.
Yeah, and thank you for hanging in with us. And things will start to get better now, and we will start traveling again this year a little bit more, and hopefully by the end of the year, and then when we get into this kind of what I call the muldrums of the year, next year, hopefully we can be in Australia and in Africa,
making the best of our time.
Yeah, and really doing some amazing things.
Let Roses Burn came back, said, he seemed real low-key and chill, and kind of seemed like when people asked for his autograph, he was genuinely surprised.
Yeah, I mean...
that's awesome.
Yeah, he was a good dude, man. I liked him a lot. He had a lot of good stories. He's obviously, smart dude. I miss those programs, the Mark O'Shea's and the Austin Stevens and the Nigel Marvins and, of course, Jeff Corwin, Steve Irwin. I mean, those were the times, when
getting
I was
people into animals, right?
Yeah, it's a shame that it's not there anymore, and it can't be there. It just doesn't work anymore. So, it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Well, the thing that's weird is it's like TV pushed that off, and now it all went to YouTube, and now YouTube can reap the benefits on it. Because the animal content used to be great, and that's all me, Maria, you, Anthony. Like we all only watched that, and they pushed us all out for soap operas and reality shows.
Yeah, and it's always about what you got to remember, and I remember people bitching about Animal Planet and stuff like that, saying like, "Oh, Animal Planet's in bed with PETA," or they're wanting to outlaw. No, they just want ratings. Period.
And money.
They don't care what the show is. They could care less if it's a positive show, a negative show. They don't care.
It doesn't even have to have animals in it.
All they care. Yeah, well, it didn't for a while, right? I mean, Marjorie Kaplan rebranded Animal Planet for a while, Surprisingly Human, you know, and they had Treehouse Masters and Pool Masters.
Keep that shit on Discovery.
They had all kinds of shows that had nothing to do with animals. So, so that's what I'm saying. They could give a crap about what the show is, if it's a good impact or a bad impact. They just want ratings that can cause them, because the higher the ratings, the more they can charge for advertising. And that's one of the cold, hard facts that you find out about TV when you're in it, is that nothing matters. They have no loyalty to you. They have no loyalty. I remember a friend of mine had a show on Discovery for 3 or 4 seasons. And really, you know, his name was Joel Sylvester. And you'll still see him every now and then pop up on TV for a segment here or there on something as a wildlife guy. Real great guy. You know, originally a South African, lives in California, and his company is actually Reptile Rentals, and he actually does 2 things for a living. He, like, a lot of the snakes that you see in movies are his snakes.
Oh, wow. That's
so
cool.
Like, I mean, it goes from, like, you know, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, when they threw the olive python for them to get out of the quicksand, that was his olive python. That Lemony Snicket's show with Johnny Depp, you know, the albino milk snake was his milk snake. And then this goes on and on. And then the other thing he does, he gets paid to remove rattlesnakes from the actual studios in
I
LA.
get you. Yeah, so like if they had something out there, they'd just be like, hey, come grab this.
Yeah, well, what happens is they have to make sure their actors are safe. So when they're doing something that's in a set that's outdoors, they have to have a guy on staff
to check,
and they pay him like $1,000 a day to sit around. And if a rattlesnake shows up, he picks it up and takes it away.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a great gig. So, but he had a show, and I remember him telling me that he said, you know, Brian, he goes, and then when we were on Discovery, the same thing happened when we were traveling, you know, like not a limo, but a black car, you know, like
luxury car
would pick you up at your house, take you to the airport, drop you off. You get, you know, picked up at the airport with the black car and take you to the next places. They treated you like like you were a rock star, you know. And I remember him saying that. He said, you know, these cars pick you up, they do your laundry, they do everything, and then all of a sudden one day your show gets canceled and everyone loses your phone number.
Yep, you won't even answer you. Not only loses your number, but won't answer you.
And that couldn't be more true. I mean, there's no loyalty, you know. To look
TV,
at Mike Rowe, who now has a new show called
that dude should
6
just
Degrees.
have a network at this point.
And I mean, he was. You know, he was like one of the biggest things on Discovery Channel for years with Dirty Jobs, and then all of a sudden they just like, but you're no longer on the network.
And he was doing voiceovers for other shows, and
he still does. He still does tons of voice work. I think that's how he pays his bills mainly. But now he has a show again, and I think he's one of the most talented hosts that's ever been on TV.
He's incredible.
But they had no loyalty to him. So, anyways, no, a little dissertation about
that's
TV.
your podcast. You could talk whatever the fuck you want.
Talk about the television.
Talk about
the television.
The boob tube. Misty Swartz says, hey, Brian, my hubby and I love your show and the Reptarium. We both have anxiety as well, but both dream of visiting one day if we can rein it in.
Well, I hope you can. And yeah, I mean, it's a tough battle. You know, I mean, I've been a lot better most days. Today I'm not. Today I'm a little bit off. I think that I felt pretty good this morning, and then I think that it was a really hectic day, and I think I just kind of keyed up. As a matter of fact, just before the podcast, I did like a 10 or 15 minute meditation, which made me feel a little bit better, but I still don't feel like my normal, let's
chipper self. Yeah.
That's, not that I'm not, I shouldn't say struggling at all tonight, but I just don't feel quite as good. You know, I mean, it wouldn't bother me if I just went home and chilled out the rest of the night because I feel a little bit keyed up. But, so anxiety is a difficult thing to deal with. But you can get over it, and I will get completely over it. I've gotten much better. And I know I'll get to the other side for sure.
Brandon Gramlin came back and said, do you guys ever watch Clint's Reptiles or Snake Discovery?
So I don't watch a lot of reptile YouTubers. I hate to say this. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to any other reptile YouTuber. I just don't get a lot out of it. You know what I mean? And there's 2 things, number one, I don't get a lot out of it. And the other thing is I don't want to ever take, their ideas even subconsciously and apply them to what I do. As a matter of fact, it was funny. Someone the other day said that it was the Did You Know?
Okay.
And they claim that some other reptile guy does it. So, now you're ripping off people's
It's
content.
like that's a not an original idea in general.
Well,
I mean,
number
did you
one,
know?
yeah. I mean, did you know is definitely not, someone, but I don't even know who does it. I
Right,
don't even know the
we
reptile.
don't watch that.
I didn't know. And again, it's nothing wrong with it. I know Emily. I do not know Clint.
But I know he knows Kevin and stuff. I think
Yeah, Clint knows Kevin, and I don't know what Clint's opinion of me is. I have no idea. I believe Clint might have done one of those, like, what I think about Brian Barczyk videos. I think I might be wrong. No, I don't think it was that. And I think it was if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but if I was correct, he did one that was relatively level-headed.
Yeah.
But he's never reached out to me. He's never followed me. He's never commented on anything. I guess I haven't to him either. So I shouldn't say it's his. He should be doing it to me.
Yeah, stupid.
But we just haven't. I mean, I think that
just haven't met up.
Yeah, yes. I think Clint's content appears to be very, very good and very educational, which I think is great. Same thing with Emily. I think that her content is definitely more geared towards younger kids than ours.
Yeah.
Which is great because she's motivating young kids and stuff like that. So, but I've chatted with Emily on a number of occasions, and we've always gotten along very well. Don't know if we'll ever do something together or not, but I just don't watch a lot of reptile content.
Oh, this is a good question. Ivan says, long-time fan. No, one day hope to visit the Reptarium. This is my first super chat, and I'm curious as heck. Can the Lori leopard be pied?
100%. Leopard and pied are very closely linked, as a matter of fact.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
what do you mean by
that? There was a period of time where they thought all leopards were het for pied. So the leopard came from Pete Call out of his pieds. So he was producing leopard pieds for years and didn't know it.
Huh.
He just thought they were just an interesting pied. And then actually Greg Graziani is the one that actually bought some animals and proved out the leopard side that was separate from the pied. But for a long time, everyone thought that you could only have leopards het for pied because all of the leopards in the very early stages were always producing pieds.
Okay.
And then it was
so it
was
like
later.
a visual het more so.
Yeah. But years later, we found out that you could actually separate the genes out, and leopards weren't. So 100%. And that's we've talked about super Lori leopard pieds.
Oh, sweet.
It's been something we've been talking about doing.
Yeah, I'm beyond hyped for that because that combo is going to be next level cool. I can't wait to see. How pied obviously messes with pattern a bit.
Yes.
I would love to see how, because obviously the super Lori leopard has such a clean pattern. I'd love to see what it does to it because I feel like it'll jumble it up.
I think it will make it interesting, and I think that just the blues and the whites and then the contrast of the other whites, and I think it could be a really beautiful animal. I mean, there's so much I've talked about it. I think the leopard project, or not the Lori project, is really starting to take off.
Oh, dude! I mean, there's those Cine Lori bananas. I mean, purple and yellow,
they're
real
really
purple.
Beautiful. I think that now that we're pushing a little harder and people are starting to get a hold of it, I think you're seeing that people are really jumping on it, and I think you're gonna, it's just something that I should have done.
It's gonna be so funny when one of the biggest morphs around is gonna be named after Lori.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
Really is. And it's just something that I dropped the ball on so bad.
But sometimes things happen for a reason.
Yeah, I think maybe the timing, now is the timing, right?
Because now you have the ability to show it to. I mean, think about it. We put that one picture out on your Instagram of that super Lori leopard.
Yeah.
I've seen it on 100 different pages on Instagram. I mean, once we get a couple banging morphs, you could do a video of just those and people would flip,
Yeah. So it's there's going to be some good stuff coming, and we've got lots of combos that were in the works. I think this year we'll do some cool stuff. Next year is the year that we're going to really crush some. We're going to blow some people.
It's almost
away
like this year's
stuff.
another prep year.
Yeah, this year's another let's get some more morphs into it. Let's get some stuff
Lori
going.
leopards,
and then
clown,
next year we've got a bunch, because we produced a bunch of cool stuff, Lori stuff last year that will be ready to breed next year. Yeah. And when we get those things churning, it's going to be wild.
Brandon Gramlin said, told Jay and Noah yesterday I got myself a Canon M50 and was wondering what your camera setup is.
So M50s are great, by the way.
Beautiful, that's why I told them too.
Yeah, great cameras, real lightweight. I think the crop is a little bit tight on them.
It's a tight 4K crop, but you could shoot 1080. Most people watching 1080 anyway. But
you can, as long as you realize that you're going to have a crop issue. But I think they make some
super wide lenses and stuff like that.
super wide lenses for him, stuff like that. But that's a really nice camera. So these guys are really Sony guys.
I'm a Sony dude,
Sony A7.
I'll sell you one. Hit me up on Instagram. I'll start talking your ear off about Sonys.
Yeah. He sold about 20, Sonys. He should get some kickback.
Yeah,
from
Sony needs to hit me up, dude.
Yeah. But so we do have a few Sonys. And then my actual camera is what the heck is it?
It's a EOS R.
Canon EOS R, and we also have a Canon 1DX.
Yes, Mark II.
Mark II.
And then he uses 11 to 24 f4 lens,
which is heavy.
I'm saying
lens,
like
man.
I mean,
heavy
it might be
lens,
one of the heavier lenses that you don't need two hands to use.
It's a very heavy lens, but I just love the way it looks. It's real wide. It's
real wide and real
beautiful.
Natural color. Like I mean, it's very true to life.
It's like a $3,000 lens.
Yeah, it's a heater. Man.
It's a beautiful lens, and I just like the way it looks. So
that's why his right arm's so thick.
That's why
now,
I got
look at
big
that
old muscles on my right side and.
Dude, it'll be so funny. You guys have no idea, but like we'll do like sometimes a real long talking piece, and you probably be like, "I just need to rest my damn arm for a second."
Yeah,
bro.
you get that thing
over 2 minutes.
2 minutes of holding it up like this. You're like literally about to cry. You know, I mean, it's like you don't understand how much I suffer for you guys.
Yeah, good luck with the camera though, man. You'll love it.
But the M50 is really a nice one.
Chad Strickland came back and said, "Awesome, seeing as much as we can will be great. We're coming all the way from South Georgia. Thanks, nice. Jay. How far a drive is Canada?" It's what, 2 hours?
Canada?
Sorry, not to there. I was saying to Ontario. I don't know how far it is, but
so from here to the Canadian border is about 25 minutes.
Yes.
You can go down to you've got two options, and both are about 25, 30 minutes. One is going to be through Detroit, and one's going to be through Port Huron.
Yeah.
Either way, if you go through Port Huron, there's nothing in Sarnia, so in Canada, so you're going to be an hour away from anything, but it's a little bit closer to get to Toronto, which is about 2.5 hours. If you go through Detroit, then you've got Windsor, and that's a cool little town right down there. And
cool.
Then Niagara. You'd want to go through Detroit if you wanted to go to Niagara, because it's only about 3 hours to Niagara Falls from here via Detroit. But yeah, no, Canada's right there, man. I mean, I literally grew up 10 miles from Canada.
We're pretty much Canadian here.
Yeah, I'm 10 miles from Canada.
RC Exotic says, "Hey guys, what's up? Do you guys know anything about black-banded centipede-eating snakes?" Never even heard of that.
I do not know. I've heard of them. I know nothing about them. Yeah, you can look that up real quick. I mean, I've seen them. I've heard about them, but I
oh wow, they're pretty neat.
They're beautiful snakes, but I don't know anything about like.
And they eat. Oh, that's for
they eat centipedes.
Thumbnail.
Yeah,
they eat centipedes. like that's their primary diet.
That's their diet. Yeah, which is crazy, right?
So now, because centipedes are the ones that are venomous, right? If I'm not, I think so.
Well, yeah, you got the pinchers, yeah.
Yeah, so would they theoretically have some type of like way to digest that venin?
I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure. Speaking of it, it's a cool snake. Look this up.
Yeah,
Cape file snakes.
Are these the ones that you're?
Yeah, I'm getting some of these.
Yeah.
Look at these damn things.
What?
Man.
So they're almost like that dragon snake, almost.
Yeah, but
different face.
Yeah, exactly. And they're bigger. They're bigger.
But same color, same like ridge on the back.
Same
same
crazy.
type of scaling. Wow.
Matter of fact, speaking of it, so my friend Warren Klein, who actually was the fixer on Brian in the Wild over in Africa,
right.
He's now here in Rhode Island, and you know what sucks, dude? He wants to get into lorry ball, so I'm shipping him a champagne lorry next week, and sure enough, he just traded a group of subadult file snakes, Cape file snakes, to Ben in New Jersey.
No way.
For some lorry stuff.
No.
Yeah, literally, he contacted me, he goes, "Hey, I want to get this," and I go, "Dude, can you get me some Cape files?" He's like, "Oh my God, dude, I literally just sent my sub-adults up."
I'm bummed out.
So he's giving me some babies in March, so I'm going to get some baby Cape files, which I think are some of the coolest snakes out there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them, man. They're going to be cool.
Super dope.
Jacob says, "Much love. You all are the best."
Thank you so much, Jacob. I appreciate you, man.
Prince says, "I applied for a business license. How long does it take for them to get back to you, and what are the odds they will reject it? I have a lot of animals."
I don't Dude, that's a question that I just can't answer.
You would, he would have to be you.
I mean, like, I don't even know what you mean by a business license. I have no clue what you mean by that. I mean, if you're applying for say LLC, a corporation, a C corp, or S corp, sole proprietorship, I mean, they never turn that down. I mean, unless you're doing something illegal. If you're talking about applying for permits from a local municipality, that's 100% on your local municipality. And and then whatever license in a state, let's say Florida has, ROC permits and this and that for with with the wild, not Fish and Wildlife, but wildlife, whatever, it doesn't matter. WC, whatever it is down in Florida. So
FWC.
FWC, that's what I was talking about. That's a whole different story. Here in Michigan,
you have a tiger.
Any permit you would apply for would be 100% granted. And then, of course, then when you get into like federal, those aren't business permits. Those are wildlife permits, like we have with Drogo. So yeah, I would just have to know so much more information before I could even explain anything. But if it's a business license, that should be something that, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, you should easily be able to do it. And then as far as timing, it just depends on who you applied with. And
now with COVID,
everything takes longer. So what used to take a month might take 3 months now.
But good luck either way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let Roses Burn said, "What time is the merch drop on Monday? I may have to call out of work."
Which merch drop is?
Are you dropping Bella Bananas on Monday?
I don't think I'm going to drop Bella on Monday. So let's unpack a few things here.
We got a lot going on.
Bella Bananas is going to be coming out maybe as soon as next week. Our Monday, we are getting coloring books in. We may not launch them until the end of the week.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen them yet. I don't even know what they cost.
Yeah, we know nothing besides the cover.
So the lovely people that are helping us, they want to surprise us, and so they're like, I don't even want to tell you what these cost. Because they're doing the first shipment for free, like they paid for as a gift, which is freaking awesome, right? And I was like, well, what if I ordered 1,000 of them? And she was like, I don't even want to talk to you about price till you see them. So I don't know what they cost. I don't even know what they would cost us. I don't know what we'd sell them for. So probably the end of the week before we launch Bella Bananas and coloring book, then other merch stuff is going to be coming pretty quick here, but that is going to be something completely different. I'll talk to you guys more about that as it gets closer, because I don't really want to say much.
You guys know you'll get the first scoop,
but it'll be it's a considerable move in a different direction than I've ever done.
Yeah, I love it. Skittle Bunny says wild caught gravid ground boa is in shed and urates are yellow and powdery, and I'm not sure why. Hoping she has many babies soon. How many did yours have?
Well, so yellow and powdery typically means that they're a little bit dehydrated. Okay?
Really interesting.
So hydrate them as much as you possibly can, and I think that was the salmonella and ground boas that we talked about last week, if I'm not mistaken. And they'll have anywhere from like 12 up to 30, depending on the size. They're very small, very difficult to get to eat. But they want to eat house geckos is what they want to eat. That's their main food is house geckos. So, but yeah, as long as you can, you'll get. I found that about a third of them ate pinkies right off the rip. A third of them would take assist feeding a few times, and then they would take off, and then the last third were a pain in the butt to get to eat. Unless you fed them house geckos, which house geckos are $4 or $5 a piece.
Not going to be doing that shit.
Cheap, yeah.
Sleeping Lady Reptiles says, much love from Alaska. You'll have to come up to herp some frogs and newts.
Oh, man, is that what you get up in Alaska, eh? So in case you haven't been around for the podcast, the deal is that Alaska's my last state.
Yep.
Last state. Jay, you have how many?
8 left.
8 states left. So what we want to do is, number one, we're going to hit some states that we both have hit together again.
Yeah, of course.
Because we want to adventure and do some things. But we want to hit. We want Alaska to be mine and Jay's last state together, so we can both go to Alaska
and
together and celebrate our 50th state and get that done. And I definitely want to spend at least a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks up there. So stay in touch with us, because we'll be wanting to bounce around to as many people as we can.
Yeah, and a lot of you have already hit me up in the comments or in my Instagram DMs too, so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so we'll crush it up there. We'll have a great time.
Blue Salad says, you need more credit for digging through muck in the turtle pond at Camp Kennan and finding his turtles using your fingers and toes. P.S. Your boy Kennan looks like Christopher Maloney from Law and Order. Damn.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that was a fun vlog that we did with Kennan. And basically what it was is he had 3 Fly River turtles.
I could see that.
Yep, he looks a lot like him, actually.
I could totally see that.
He looks a lot like him, actually, very much like him.
That's so funny.
Interesting. I'm sure he's got to get that a lot because that's like, I mean, he has a doppelganger.
It's like the same person.
Yeah, I mean, it's a doppelganger. Right there, that picture right, like right to right.
This one?
Yeah, that one. I think that one nails it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's him.
That's our boy. That's a Jersey boy right there.
Yeah, that's him, man. So, yeah, but so he had 3 Fly Rivers. One had escaped or he thought was stolen or something happened. So we decided to go in and we probably spent half hour, 45 minutes in there. You know what? I hate to say this, this is so vain of me to say,
no.
but probably the thing I didn't like about that video the most was I was really pudgy.
Oh no! And like, so you don't like looking at it.
Yeah, I don't like looking at it because I was like really pudgy. Not that I'm in great shape now, but that was before I worked out at all, and I was overweight, and I remember I was coming up with that turtle. I looked like I had like no definition in my arms or chest, but I had this big old white belly, and I remember just feeling really like.
But you know what? That's good because now you can look back and be like, look at what I did now, baby.
Yeah, but I still have a long way to go. I was doing pretty good when I was really deep in anxiety.
Well, yeah, because it's a little hard to eat when you can't concentrate.
Yeah. I wouldn't eat because I was so anxious, and I got down to about 170, which is really the weight that I'd like to be at right now. Right now I'm at about 182, so I've gained about 12 pounds.
Them Christmas cookies, baby.
Yeah. Oh, Christmas killed me, guys.
Like seriously.
Yeah, but I've eaten pretty well since Christmas. But I'm still about 12 pounds over where I want to be. So I need to tighten it up a little bit. But that video, we had a great time with Ken, and I've always had a great time every time we have Ken and ever do anything together. Really genuine dude, love him to death. And I believe in what he does. But that video made me cringe a little bit.
Hell yeah, dude! Because
I was like, oh, he looks so bad. Man. Talk about a dad bod.
Dad bodding it out there.
Yeah, and Kennan's in good shape. He's probably in better shape now.
But he's an
athlete.
He's a professional athlete.
Yeah, he was a pro BMXer. Yeah.
And it turns out it's Kristen C. But I got married, so Kristen P.
There you go.
There we go. So I'll call her Kristen instead of Christink. Yeah. When I kept saying stink, I'm like, that seems rude.
Yeah, that seems rude for sure. Yeah.
Let me see where we're at.
Yeah, and like I said, I can get into a little bit more of the Africa stuff too down the road here, but I want you guys to I enjoy the Q&A part of this a lot.
We really get to interact with everybody.
Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. I really do, and because you can ask me anything. I mean, literally, there's no boundaries. I've actually went and said some things.
Some pretty deep shit.
I've said some things that I knew I probably would regret one day. I don't. I'm
no hold back.
Yeah, I'm just always going to be honest with you guys, whether it's politically correct or not.
Marie says, long-time lurker, first-time commenter. Thanks for reigniting my love for reptiles. Can't wait to visit in May from Utah.
Oh, that's
one of my favorite places in the world.
Thank you for finally coming out of the lurker and getting into the comments.
And
Utah is both mine and Jay's one of our top 3 states. I think
Yeah, it's hard. Like it's that and Arizona are pretty tied right now. But I think Utah, because once we got to go to Zion one day and Bryce's.
We didn't go to Zion.
I think we go to Zion and Bryce's. That with Moab, I don't know if it can be beat.
Yeah, Moab has been amazing, and obviously the other time we spent in Utah has been incredible. So can't wait to get back out there again for sure.
Elaine Smith says, thanks, Jay. I like to smoke when I watch the podcast. You at least try to figure out my encrypted posts. I got you, Elaine, no doubt.
Yeah. We
got a bunch of potheads out here.
Got a bunch of potheads in this place, man.
That's what we breed, baby.
I'm the only non-pothead in the group. Even Lori was like, what did Lori say the other night? She smoked with Noah the once. And then she ate some edibles. And then the other day she said something like, I was like, we need to watch something. And she was like, I'm going to need to smoke some of Noah's weed before I do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And, but she didn't.
She didn't.
But she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind. She'll smoke it.
Yeah, it's not bad for you, Elaine Smith says, how long do the snakes stay tied? Is it possible to miss if you don't check every hour? Okay.
It's completely
Locked
possible. You can sometimes see, and it depends on the species, right? So if you're talking about ball pythons, typically a ball python will stay hooked up for a pretty considerable amount of time, usually hours, sometimes even days, believe it or not. With colubrids, it can be minutes.
So you can miss it
so
quick.
a lot of other snakes that way too. So you can miss it. But even with ball pythons, I have had them where I've been like, I've checked at 3 o'clock and nothing's hooked up, and I've checked at 4 o'clock and they're hooked up, and I've checked at 5 o'clock and they're unhooked up. So you can certainly miss them. But I mean.
Most of the time you get them, because I feel like most of the time you get them in the morning.
Yeah. Morning is kind of the best time, and then if it's a colubrid thing, usually it's just they'll breed literally minutes after you put them together.
Silver Cash says, just keeping it real. Had my first tail lock up today. Congrats, dude.
So we just talked about that. See, there you go.
He did it. He found it.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Congratulations, man.
Sleeping Lady says, any thoughts on Madagascar cat-eyed snakes or Caphotis? I did my best there, bro. I'm sorry.
Can you punch it up? Because I'm not familiar with that particular
Sounds cool. I love cat-eyed snakes. There's Cannon.
There's the man, Cannon. Such a handsome man.
Cat-eyed snake.
Yeah, I'm just curious what they are exactly.
Whoa.
Very cool.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of the Savu python.
A little bit. I don't know anyone that's ever worked with them.
Those are kind of badass, huh?
They are very cool.
This is a colubrid, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a colubrid.
It's got like a weird, almost like python head to it, though.
Yeah, I'd like to know if anyone's working with them in the country, because I don't really, I've never seen them ever. So I don't know anything about them. They look relatively small.
Yeah.
But I don't know how big they get, but no, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I'll have to do a little more research on them. I see if anyone's getting them. Again, Madagascar is one of those countries that not a lot comes out of.
Yeah. Understandably
legally, and so there's not a lot of. I mean, the stuff that's here, like the panther chameleons and the Dumerils boas and the Malagasy ground boas, have been things that have been in the country for a long time. As a matter of fact, there's probably less than a dozen founder stock Dumerils boas in the country. So everything is pretty tight gene pool. But it'd be interesting to see. I'd like to, it's a very interesting snake. I'm glad you brought it up.
Chad Strickland, he's crushing it today. He said, also, I plan on doing a few general admission visits too. I can't wait to show you pics of hatchlings from my leopard gecko colony. It's entirely from BHB.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Well,
People have built their
man.
own colonies off your colony
I know,
and stuff.
It's so cool. It's very touching, and I can't wait till you come. Did he say he was coming in what month? Did he say?
I think he said May.
Maybe.
I can't remember. It's going to be gone.
Well, definitely stay in touch with us. I mean, let's do something cool when you come, and obviously hang out. We'll have a good time. By May, I think hopefully I'll be feeling 100% by May.
Yeah.
And
life feels 100%.
And life will start feeling a lot more better. And I think those two things going,
I think they're coincided for a bit.
A little bit, like as life gets better, I start to feel a little bit better. But I still have, every time I think I'm almost there, I realize I still have work to do. Like today is just a little bit off, so I realize like, hey, I have some work to do. But I'm working on it, and I'll continue on it. And I'm praying that this summer is going to be epic. I'm hoping that I feel great. I'm hoping that life is good. I'm hoping, I've got a lot of big aspirations for this summer.
Dylan Kemp says, hey, I've always wondered where you got your name tag stickers for all your tanks. Did y'all print them yourselves or did you order them online?
No, we did print them ourselves with the Cricket.
Cricket.
So Lori did some. We had a company originally. Some friends of ours did some, and then now Jay is doing them. Not
me, other
Jay.
Jay.
Yeah, Jay the entertainer. He just recently, as a matter of fact, he just recently pretty much did all the rest that were there. So all the ones that we were missing, I think just in the last week he's hit all of them. Now we have name tags on,
and I think he's even switching the other ones so they're all the same font and stuff like that too.
And I think that. But there was an interesting when we were down at Desiree's place at Reptile in Cold-Blooded Cafe.
Oh, they had that.
They had
cool
that really
thing.
cool and some guy was actually doing these like tags that talked about geography. Had a little picture of where they were from.
Showed they're endangered.
Yeah, like it was really cool, and I thought about looking into those.
Still not a bad idea, even if it's like just that part where they're from and the endangered thing. Maybe it doesn't have to have their name, but
but I've thought about looking into those. Those are super, super cool.
Yeah, it's super neat.
Yeah.
Bama says, hey Brian, have you ever considered getting a Xenodermis Javanicus. I think I did a good job with that for the Reptarium. And how would I go about emailing you? Let me see.
Well, you can email me at just info at BHB Reptiles, sales at BHB Reptiles, whatever the case is.
Dragon
snake.
snake.
So there's dragon snakes. Yeah.
I wish we could.
You know, I've talked about this before, is that they all die. Yeah. You know, so somebody needs to captive breed these. You know, there's no doubt that someone needs to captive breed these. The problem is that I'm not. I don't want to encourage people to buy a snake that 99.999% will die.
Yeah.
So certain snakes just don't do well in captivity. Now, will these do well if they get captive bred? Possibly, possibly not. We don't know. But in the meantime, every one that comes out of the wild is getting killed.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. You know, so beautiful snakes, amazing, amazing. But I don't know one person that's actually kept them alive for more than 6 months. Not one person.
There you go.
And so let's hope somebody does and that someone does it, but I'm not going to encourage it personally because I just think it's a travesty to kill so many beautiful snakes.
I agree 100%. Chad Strickland came back and says, also, I have a pair of children's pythons I got from you in December. The female's not eating. I've tried live and frozen. Assist feed is hard because she's so small. How?
So small. Well, call us up. We'll talk you through it. I mean, we always, whenever something happens like that, and if something does happen, obviously we'll work it out. You know, I mean, I will see I don't know if we have another one we can switch out for you. That's something we do a lot, to be honest with you, is if something's not doing well, we just switch it out.
And then we
deal with it. But give us a call. Give us a call on Monday and let's talk through what we could potentially give you as far as,
either advice,
suggestions, because one of the things that I have a lot of success with those is number one, you want to have a deli cup with moss and then a lid with a like quarter size circle in it so they can climb in. One of the things that happens, one of the things you could do is take the same type of deli cup without the moss during feeding and put a live pinky in there with it. So overnight, it's kind of trapped in with that pinky. Another thing that we have a lot of success with. So, but call us. We'll walk you through it.
Sleeping Lady came back, says, let me know we have 3-bedroom Airbnb for you in Alaska. Damn, we're making these connections, dude.
Yeah, can you message Jay Tomsky so we have your contact information?
Message me on Insta.
And we'd love to we will 100% take you up on it, 100%.
Yeah, kidding me?
Maybe next week.
Yeah. I'll see you in a couple hours. We're on our way now.
We'll book a Delta flight tonight.
Let's close out this motherfucking podcast. Get out of here.
Up in Alaska, you guys don't get that COVID.
Yeah, COVID, huh?
COVID don't go up there, man. I saw the Discovery Channel.
I saw it.
I saw The Last Frontier on Discovery.
Yeah,
they weren't wearing no masks up there.
They didn't give a damn.
I do want to get up there. Alaska's like the dream, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm going to fall in love with it. I know I'm going to go up there and want to live up there. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and then we'll bring you another time, Brian, in the winter, and then you'll crush that. You'll be like, I never want to go again.
I freaking hate this place. But I think about like that whole, like I love. Like I always say, my favorite time of the year is when it's like 10:30 and it's still dusk outside here in Michigan.
3 months.
And they're literally like 3 in the morning. It's still like dusk outside.
Yeah, they pretty much go into about dusk. So the sun will set, go to dusk, and then it'll just start rising again. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Japan. The first time I was in Japan, we got in at about midnight, and we went out to dinner with a guy named Dice K. And he took us out to dinner at midnight, which number one I thought was very unusual. We go out to dinner, and the restaurant's packed. It's like midnight,
Weird.
And it was like a Thursday. It wasn't like a weekend. It was like a Thursday. Restaurant's packed. We eat, we talk, we having a good time. Obviously, a long flight. Get back to the hotel. I was with a guy named Amir. We shared a hotel, and
Amir,
and he's the one that produced the first yellow belly ball pythons, actually. And we get there. It's like 3 in the morning. We get to our hotel. We're like, we're going to get some sleep. It was going to be an early. We're going to wake up at like 7 or whatever. And literally, we get to our hotel room at 3, and the sun is starting to come up. And I'm like, what is
going on?
It's like, is that the sun coming up at 3 o'clock in the morning? And so it was, that's
bizarre.
Yeah. I didn't realize Japan was like that, but it is.
Interesting. I guess it is pretty south, eh?
Yeah.
Clistia says, love your shirt, Brian, and give Ivy love for me. That's one of my favorite shirts, too.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Normal, healthy adult turtles.
Normal, healthy adult turtles.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah. it's a good shirt, and these are the type of shirts that I hope we'll be making more of soon.
Yeah. Silver Cash came back, says, no regrets. I've learned everything from you and inspired me to have passion, and you're super positive.
Well, thank you so much. I try my hardest. I mean, trust me, I have plenty of faults, guys. But I really do try my hardest to be a positive person and have a positive, I believe in positive energy a lot. And sometimes I get negative, it happens, we all are human, but it's interesting that sometimes even in my darkest times that I can still somehow bring myself to see the light, and that's a difficult thing to do. Like even in the worst times of my anxiety, there were very few times I felt like it was hopeless. There were times, but most of the time I felt like, we're going to get through it. There would be another side to it. And even on days like today when I'm feeling a little bit off and a little bit agitated as far as my mental health, I keep telling myself tomorrow's going to be better, and it'll be better.
And it usually is.
And it usually is. So Saturdays are always probably one of my roughest days.
It's a hard day, guys.
It's just a very tough day because we get in early, we film, lots of tours, lots of events, lots of birthday parties. Then we
straight to the podcast.
Then we open up at the Reptarium. I spend 45 minutes or so at the Reptarium. Then we do the podcast. Then I go right back to the Reptarium until 9:00 tonight. Obviously I'm going to go do another podcast. So they're very.
And we both didn't sleep well last night too.
Yeah, we both. Ironically enough, it was
both
just
up
talk
all
about
night, yeah.
It's symbiosis. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning, literally at 3:00 in the morning, and could not go back to sleep.
And I was up shortly after that.
I ended up buying a couple domains on GoDaddy.
That's what happens, dude. You get the domains at night.
I've been doing this GoDaddy freaking.
You should. It sucks you can't buy GoDaddy.
I want to buy GoDaddy stock.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
But,
causing it to rise.
I buy a lot of domains. That's like to me, it's just one of those things that eventually we're gonna run out of domains. You know what I mean? There's only so many domains.
You're all gonna have to pay Brian for your fucking websites.
Yeah. When you want your that domain, I'll sell it to you.
Yeah, when you want slipperywrists.com.
I literally, it's almost like I go in reverse with things where it's like I want a cool name with a cool domain. That rhymed, man.
I want a cool name with a cool domain.
And then I want to build a business around that domain. So I look at my domain list and I think, man, I need to launch this business. As soon as we're launching a business and then think of a name, I go the opposite way.
Smart.
I think of the name and then think of the business. So we have a couple. I was looking last night at 3:00 in the morning, of course, through my domain list, and
there's a couple bangers in that.
Yeah, I need to launch some new businesses.
So stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah.
Sherry says, amazing. Whatever questions come from the super chats, you and Jay have an entertaining answer and explanation for each one. Love the vlogs, podcasts, and your stories. Positive vibes for your blues.
Thank you, Sherry. And again, I always say this, but she comments every day on the video.
She's a sweetheart.
And I love the fact that I feel like I've gained a relationship with some of the people that comment every day. I recognize them. I hear what they say. I remember the things that they say over time, and it's a fun community. I mean, I'm very, very blessed to have that. And,
dude, for sure. I mean, literally, that's how I came to you, right? Because I commented every day, just like Sherry. I'm sure I've seen Sherry. I'm sure I've put first comments above her first.
Yep.
Wouldn't doubt it, but yeah, and it's like it's cool because you do answer back. So like you do, like I'd be like so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to tell Brian that I got biology class this morning and I got to take a test. Oh, Brian, I did good on my test. And like, it's just fun, man, because you actually are like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I wish I could do it all day long, because obviously I do it the first 45 minutes or so.
That's just literally the time we have.
I don't have any time allotted,
And then it's the next day.
I miss it a lot, but.
Wendy says, hi, Brian and Jay. Hope your weekend is going well. So glad I caught another live. Sending much love.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate you. And I love your hamburgers.
Yeah, they're actually good, man. I don't care if they're square.
Yeah. I worked at Wendy's for one day.
Did you?
Yeah, for one day.
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
I remember.
I'm out of here.
That was it was the
fucking
worst.
Out of here.
I worked at Burger King for a bit, and it wasn't bad.
Wendy's was bad.
Wendy's was definitely bad. I mean, it was definitely bad.
What was the part that you didn't like about it? Was it the pace of work, or
no? It was. To be totally honest with you, and I'm sure this was just the Wendy's I worked at. It was not very sanitary.
Okay.
So like.
It's probably the one you worked at.
The one good thing about Wendy's, and I know Wendy's like, well, but I don't know. Wendy's.
Talk about my comment.
Yeah,
we're talking about cheeseburgers now.
Yeah, no,
Wendy,
you got me going on the cheeseburger, Wendy. So after coming from Burger King, that was very tight shipped. I mean, you were constantly cleaning your station. And, Wendy's does say that they don't freeze their burgers, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that they allow you to cook half brown burgers that have been never thawed, that are in the freezer, that are like 2 or 3 days old, and they're like already starting to rot a little bit, right? And that really bothered me. That was like probably the thing that turned me off the most, was that like, I'm like, if I was at home and I had that hamburger, I'd throw it in the garbage.
Right. So
But
now why am I cooking it?
But you guys are cooking it. And
you're supposed to be, it should be better than me at home by myself. You know what I mean?
And again, listen, it could have just been that particular Wendy's.
Most likely, yeah, especially if it's a franchance or something.
But yeah, it was a...
No. Silver Cash asks, what's your favorite tattoo? It's a hard one.
My tattoo or that I've seen.
No, let's do your tattoos out of yours.
Gosh, that's a good question. I think that,
what's the one that stands out to you the most? Like when you see it on yourself, you're like,
the one I like the best, honestly, is probably the Nile crocodile on my shoulder right here. I think it's the one that like looks so real that it looks like you just took like a newspaper print and just like
slapped it on your arm.
But I mean, so many. I mean, obviously the lion is really nice. I mean, obviously my first tattoo was my cheetah, and that was real special. But I've talked about the fact that I want to finish out my arm and my chest with Bob Tyrell, who's done all my work on my arms and chest at least. And then I want to tattoo collect after that. So I want to go to the most famous tattooers.
Yeah.
And stick with black and gray and have them do one animal tattoo on me. And so I want to go to all so I want to go to the famous black and gray realists.
Yeah.
Not
cartoony or surrealism.
I want a tattoo. And there's a lot of guys that are really quite amazing that I can't wait to get work done on. But before I get them, I want to get done with my arm. And like I said, I just haven't been, number one, anxiety wise, I don't think I could sit in a chair for 8 hours without feeling anxious. 2, with COVID, I don't feel real comfortable sitting, in a chair with Bob right now. But, he's been pretty cavalier. He's pretty reckless out there. Yeah. And so I love the guy to death. But I'll wait probably. But hopefully by the end of summer I can get my arm done. That would be great. Get my arm
I can't
done.
wait to film that. Like I'm super excited to film.
Yeah.
You getting tattooed because I would love to make an edit.
Yeah, because I've never done a really good tattoo video.
And there's so much stuff to do, like with the Laowa or like with a macro lens and stuff.
The Laowa stuff would be really cool, especially if you could shoot it at high speed. 240.
That's what I'm saying with the ink coming out and stuff. That would look so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's coming.
Tiffany says, hi, Brian and Jay. What gene should I look into for leopard geckos if I want an all-white one? Also, is Nebraska a state left on either of your lists? I'll be the guide. We went to Nebraska, didn't we?
I've been to Nebraska a number of times.
I think we went through Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure if we did or not.
We may have. Maybe for a second. I don't remember.
But I love the Henry Doyley Zoo. It's one of my favorite zoos in the country.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And I like Nebraska. It's kind of rolling hills a little bit.
Yeah,
It's not quite as flat as some of the other
mid-states,
mid-states that are like really flat. It's got a lot of stuff going on. Did have quite a bit of wind turbines. I didn't like that much.
Brian doesn't like wind turbines
I don't like wind turbines, but no, we'll be back to Nebraska. Heck yeah. My uncle lives there actually in Lincoln.
Know that.
Yep, in Lincoln. Yep.
Little Bogus says, for the Otter Fund, and so I'm not just lurking.
Ooh, Otter Fund. Jay, so now we've got Jay, Entertainer Jay.
In on it?
He's
gung-ho.
He told me the other night he was up at 2 a.m. researching otters.
Oh, we'll have him in 3 weeks.
No, he's definitely... Well, the thing that's nice is like, so when I try to influence Lori, it can be a battle. But if myself and Jay are both influencing Lori, it seems like things work out. Like she takes him. She's like, all right, if Jay wants to do it.
Yeah, because I don't know why, but she thinks he's very sensible. I don't agree. He's crazy as fuck like all of us. But
he is.
Some reason she gives him the sensibility pass.
I agree with that, but otters are. So I think it's so. Listen, let me just give you the vision here. Let me give you the vision.
Scuba strippers.
You got scubastripper.com.
yeah.
Which someone bought that, but they never gave it to Noah.
Wasn't it Rob?
I thought
Robcast.
Is it Robcast?
I think it was Rob Podcast.
I think you're right. So we're gonna have to get him to give that to Noah. But I'm telling you guys, don't buy stocks. Just buy domains.
You'll be making billions.
You'll be making so much money. So where were we at? I'm sorry, I lost track.
Shit.
Let me go. So
Honor
right
fund,
now
yeah.
we've got obviously Drogo is now experiences with Drogo, which again Jay is really working hard on Lori to let people hold Drogo, which we said we were never going to do, but we now think we can do it because when we had our vet out, the vet brought all her staff. And we were able to kind of pass Drogo around a little bit, and it worked out great.
Yeah, and he loved it.
So yeah, and he was cool. So we think we can do that now. So Jay is working on Lori on that. The original was like no way, and then now it's kind of like oh maybe. So I think we're there. But anyway, so we have that. Can you imagine now having an otter experience? We would get 3 Asian clawed otters.
Oh, so you found the ones you like.
Yeah. You want to get Asian clawed, and they're smaller.
See how it goes, guys. Last time we talked about this, Brian didn't know what otter he liked.
Yeah.
Now he knows what otter he likes.
Yeah. I know what otter I want. And you want to get 3 because they're very playful, so you don't want to keep them solitary, and they should be together. But you want to get them young enough to where you can keep them super, super tame, so people could hold them. That would be the big thing about that. And then so otters, and then stingrays. So if we had otters, stingrays,
sloth,
Drogo, all the reptiles, touch tanks with starfish and cleaner lobsters and anemones.
Topless Tuesdays in the anaconda enclosure.
I just think that we'd be a destination. I mean, we're already a destination,
right? But I get what you're saying. It's something where people would come
level.
From another country that don't watch the vlog.
I'll be honest with you. I think they'd come from the Galactic Federation.
See, that's what's going to happen is we're going to set this whole thing up, and they're going to be like, we just wanted to check out your reptile zoo.
Yep, we're coming from the Galactic
What would
Federation.
you do, though? That would be so fucking funny.
We're going to get UFOs here.
Yeah,
they're going to be landing in the front yard, man. They're going to be like, we heard about your reptarium. Take me to your leader.
Take me to your... And they're like, this is Brian Barczyk.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my God, he's got a YouTube play button. That's what they're going to do, bro.
You got that meal play button?
Yeah, they're going to be like,
Speaking
oh, my
of
God.
Which, you guys know, we're now 35,400 away from 3 million.
And the cool thing about this one, though, is that this mill was really built by you.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't a collab build.
Yeah, we didn't collab.
This was like a real million followers.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, you're right. We basically didn't collab hardly at all for the last million. Yeah. So the first 2 million, well, the first probably 400,000 came from just some viral videos that I wasn't collabing. And then probably the next 1.5 million came from Logan Paul and David Dobrik.
And now
Alex
this is
Wasabi
all on you, and that's huge. Yeah. I don't know. I think that takes a lot of, it might have taken longer to get there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a more valuable, rewarding.
Yeah, it'll be great. 3 mil is going to be really amazing. I'm very, very, very blessed to have, and we're probably a month or so away.
And the other cool thing is that we're about a little over 50K away on this channel from having another play button.
Yeah, that'd be great to get this channel to 100K.
Yeah, so help us out, guys. Like this video, send it to your friends. Don't be stingy.
Yeah,
help us out.
Don't be stingy.
Don't be stingy.
You fuckers.
You fuckers.
No, I'm just kidding. You guys are great. But yeah, this would be cool. And then, of course, we're talking about somehow trying to reboot Animal Bites channel because we're at 800 and something thousand.
We got to get that milli.
We got to get to 1 mil on that channel. It's been dormant now for 2.5 years. And we posted very few videos in the last 4 years on it. So we're going to try to reboot that channel at some point. It's just a matter of brain bandwidth.
Yeah, so the big thing, and I guess the problem we have is that the amount of time and the amount of effort, right? Because we don't have enough time, and we obviously don't want to make your life more crazy because it's not even possible.
Yeah, well, we're all stretched.
Yeah, so we have to figure out a way to make compelling content that doesn't take forever to produce.
You know what I thought? I was thinking about this type of thing. I was thinking about I was thinking, you guys can tell me what you think.
Yeah, let us know.
I was thinking, all the rage on TV right now are these clip shows.
Where
you have experts talking about them. I was thinking about that. Could we take really interesting animal clips? The problem is you would have to then get permission, I believe, to use those animal clips. I'm not sure about that, but I'd have to figure that one out. And then have Kevin McCurley and Kenan Harkin and all these animal experts, Chandler's Wildlife and Tyler Nolan and you name it, Clint's Reptiles, whatever the case is. And then you would have them commenting about what they seen in this particular clip.
Damn, that's such a good idea. That's not hard to do.
It wouldn't be hard to do because they could film it all themselves and just send us their reactions.
Yeah.
And we could just have the clips. So I think it'd be, I was thinking about that.
I think that's a good idea. Honestly, we should talk more about that later.
Yeah, and I just have to find out if you need to, so on YouTube, it's a really weird thing about copyright. like some things you can use and some things you'll get a copyright strike. Now, the thing is, there's a difference between a copyrighted where someone just like says, hey, that was my content, now I'm going to take your revenue, and that copyright strike. If you get 3 copyright strikes on your channel, your channel is banned. It's gone. Goodbye. Deleted.
And it takes what? How long? 6 months for
6 months for each strike.
Without getting any other strikes.
So if you got 3 strikes in 6 months, your channel is deleted. So I wouldn't want to use clips and then have them come back and
because we could do 6 videos.
I really should probably talk to our YouTube manager.
Yes, and can we make that real?
Yeah, can we do it, or do we have to reach out to each individual person and say, "Can we use your clip?"
Yeah, which then becomes now a time thing.
A very big time thing, and a lot of these animal clips, those people you can't even get a hold of.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's just some random person, right?
Yeah. So, but,
Maria asks, Brian, do you get seasick? Because I'd love to take a halibut. I think it's halibut or halibut. Charter with you guys. I'm a commercial fisherman in the Bering Sea, so fishing is my thing, and I love. Dude,
crazy.
I laughed so hard. You were talking about something serious before, and that's why I laughed when you said it, because I read this. I'm like, yeah, fucking right.
So
dude.
Maria, listen, I love you, man. You are a hero to me that you are able to go into the Bering Sea and fish because you are out of your fucking mind, if you ask me. I do get seasick. That being said, I want to talk to you more about it because I think I might try it.
Let's do it. I'm fucking so in.
But there would have to be it would have to be a situation where if we went out and if I lost my shit, we could turn around. We could come back.
Yeah, we can't be held there because that ain't happening.
So let me tell you what ruined me about fishing, right?
Yeah,
about seasick is that I went out on a charter. It was a 50-foot charter, by the way, and to off of the Keys in Florida, and it was 7 miles out in really choppy water. I had never been seasick before, but quite frankly, I'd very seldom been out on a boat, so I didn't know I would get seasick. I did the day before go out diving at Lou Key, and it was a little choppy, and I didn't get sick at all. So when we went out on this charter, I had no expectations of getting sick whatsoever. I got out there and got violently ill. And by the way, there was about 40 people on the charter. All but 2 people got violently ill. All but 2. That's how bad it was. And the problem was it was a 5-hour charter. So we got out there within 20 minutes, I was puking, and I had to sit there for 3.5, 4 hours before we turned around. And that was so Maria, reach out to us. Let's talk. Hit Jay up on Instagram. And I would do it, but I would be very scared, because the Bering Sea to me is like this one place outside the Drake Passage.
That you've never
that I would like I will never go to Antarctica because of the Drake Passage. Never, ever in my entire life. I'd have to be like Mr. T from the A-Team.
Yeah.
You would have to drug me and knock me out to get me on a boat to go across the Drake Passage. The same thing goes with the Bering Sea. That being said, there is something very intriguing. I love The Deadliest Catch. It was always one of my favorite shows. So I would love to go out on the Bering Sea with you, but you would have to hold my hand.
Yeah, and we're down, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. What a badass, though.
Yeah,
huh?
That's cool,
She's
man.
A badass.
And I'm sure that's like a boys' club. So to be a girl in that world, kudos to you. I love that.
Oh, I love it, man.
Break the barriers.
We're gonna have a great time in Alaska.
Yeah,
man.
Alaska trip's gonna be so fun.
Oh my gosh, man! I'd go out on the boat. Fishing,
dude, you're
Bering Sea?
You're gonna flip the fuck out. What are you talking about, bro?
Man,
you're gonna be flipping.
I'm gonna be like just getting out of harbor. I can turn around.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Let's turn around.
We could take the drone out there, though, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But I would like to try. I once,
let's give it a shot.
I once pitched a show.
Oh, no.
I pitched a show, but it didn't get very far. It was called Master of None. And,
Stop. So you kind of like go along on a bunch of different things and try to do it?
Right. So at the time,
Good
Deadliest
idea.
Catch was very popular. There were storm chasers. There was some garage shows about building cars.
Yeah.
And so on like that. And I wanted to be like each week I would do a different reality show. And one of them would have been Deadliest Catch, crab fishing. So one of the weeks I would go out and do crab fishing.
I can't believe that show didn't make it. That's such a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Because I can picture you like on the boat going all over the place because you don't have your sea legs and like trying to get stuff together, but you don't know where anything is. It's like funny. It's built-in drama.
Well, that's the thing. It would be funny because for people that don't know me, I'm afraid of so much, right? So like I'll get in with any animal in the world and have no fear.
But a windmill?
But yeah, you get me by a fucking silo, and I'm quivering,
Yeah.
So you can't get across a bridge, But so that's why I thought the show would have been funny, is that I would be doing stuff that was like so far outside my comfort zone, and it would have been built in huge things. But they actually didn't like the idea at all.
That's stupid.
Which is funny.
And that's why TV's dead, because y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good show. I still think it would be a good show.
Let's do it. Silver Cash says, basement's looking good.
Oh,
thanks,
you
Vato.
so much.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. I appreciate it. We're working hard on it. If we get lucky, I think we'll get the floor done. If we have tomorrow, Monday by the latest, for sure.
Sleeping Lady said, several people are breeding the Madagascar cat-eyed snakes in Florida.
Nice.
I had my first clutch this last season. Real simple to keep and handle.
Well, then I'm super excited about it. So if you have another clutch, please reach out to me. I'd love to get one or a couple, because I think they are absolutely and beautiful. So congratulations.
Simple Man asks, how easy is it for RJ to climb up out of his pond with 3 legs?
He does no problem. I mean, he climbs
literally
up,
no problem. I was just going to say, like,
I would say 4 out of 7 days he's on the ledge.
If not more. Yeah, I mean, it's been almost every day I come down and he's up there.
He's very agile.
He's so funny, man. I've been fallen more and more in love with him.
Yeah, I can't wait till he's on display here. Again, another animal that will be at the Reptarium 3.0.
That's going to be a big deal, too, because people are going to love seeing him. He's got so much personality.
Yeah, and I think that I could probably do similar to what Will Nace did when he was here, when he got in. I think I could probably do alligator shows with RJ.
I 100% think you
so
could.
Maybe like there's a certain hour where I get in with RJ and I do a little, like blah, 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 messing with him or whatever the case is. I think people would really like that.
I agree, and I would, too. I mean, it would be fun to film.
Yeah.
Chad came through. Chad is crushing it tonight.
Chad, you're killing it, man.
He said, we're coming next month, Brian. Yeah, we certainly want to see everything and everyone we can and do some cool stuff with you guys.
Well, let's try to plan a Chad tour. I think he said he's doing a tour. Is that what he said?
Yes.
So we'll do a tour. Well, is he coming on a Saturday? I hope you come on a Saturday. Maybe we'll come down, get you in the podcast room.
Hang out with the boys.
Just hang out. If you're here on a Friday, maybe you can go on Noah's podcast.
Oh, dude, I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah, maybe Noah can do that. But yeah, let's hang out. Let's have a good time.
I'm sure it'll be a blast. Let Roses Burn says, do you give your beardies cook veggies at all? Also, mine hate greens. I cycle different greens, veggies, fruit. Besides sprinkling with raspberries or mealworms, he won't eat greens. He's 3, a rescue, and has spinal issues.
Yeah, it's tough, and the spinal issues could probably be because he didn't eat greens when he was younger. And once they get off of the greens, it becomes difficult to get them back on it. One of the tricks that sometimes you can do is you can like sprinkle some like superworms on greens. And they'll, as they're eating the superworms, they kind of eat the greens or layer it in that.
Yeah, that's what we've done.
And that's something that you can do sometimes. We do not. I've never gave him cooked vegetables.
I don't know if cooked food is necessarily good for animals.
It's probably not overall. Like cooked eggs are good.
Yeah,
cooked eggs.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
But I think that. Try to get some more veggies in there if at all possible. And little tricks kind of can help them. But it's tough when you got a 3-year-old because it's already really set in its ways. And too much fruit is not that great, right? Like they really need the veggies, not the fruit. So try squash, try yams, try all kinds of different, carrots and anything you can think of. It doesn't have to be greens, just vegetables. More veggies, less fruit, and less protein. And I think you'll see your spine won't correct, but it won't get worse.
Okay. Becky says, loving the podcast as always. You always make me smile. Sending love.
I appreciate you so much. I really do. And I'm glad that you guys are smiling. And you guys literally make me smile every day on the inside. You don't even understand. Listen, I could never express my gratitude for where you guys have let me go. Although, my aspirations are always much crazier than where we're at. I mean, I'm so grateful for where I'm at, but I feel like we can go so much further. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we can make so much of an impact on people in so many different ways. And I don't mean just me. I mean everybody, Jay and Jay the Entertainer and Lori and Noah. And as a group, we can do so much more than we're even doing now. And that's why I keep working so hard at it. And I want to inspire people not only to love reptiles and animals and care about the environment, but also I want people to worry about mental health and happiness and be good business people and follow your dreams. And there's so many layers to what I believe in.
And you offer more tips to people than school does, quite frankly, to be honest with you, with like business and your dreams and expectations and inspiration.
I don't know. I keep hearing that our show isn't that educational anymore.
Yeah, well, Noah was, dude, we were doing that alphabet game the other day, and I'm laughing so hard because it'd be like, we'd be on like T, and he's like, N comes next, and I'm like, I'm like, you can't go to Catholic school no more, bro. That's just,
I know.
They're
man,
like, letters. We ain't teaching you that.
We ain't teaching
you need to know the letters G, O, and D.
Yeah, that's all you need. Get on your knees, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, we hope that we can
add
inspire
value
people and add value. And I really I'd love sometime, even on the podcast, get like really deep on business.
Yeah, it'd be a good one.
I mean, I love talking business.
And that's when y'all got to save in your iPods or something.
Yeah,
because that's a big deal.
Because I've learned through the hard. No one's taught me anything about business.
Yeah, you've made mistakes.
I've learned to become a good businessman through making unbelievably bad decisions. A lot.
And let him teach you so you don't do that.
Yeah.
And you can make better decisions. That's awesome.
And I think that little things like, there's so many things. I mean, I joke around about these domains, but I seriously believe that's a great business plan.
Yeah, he's not joking.
I literally, again, 3 o'clock in the morning, we're buying domains, And I mean, I'm not going to buy like millions, and I'm not buying them like to like hostage people. I don't believe in that shit.
No, he doesn't.
I buy stuff that I'm like, hey, maybe I can develop a business around this idea. And you can't really, in this day and age, develop a business without a great name and a great website.
You need a website that matches your name. You don't want dashes and hyphens and all that stuff.
If you can avoid those things, you need to. Sometimes you have no choice. I mean, if
don't
you
be Tyrannosaurus Rex marketing, right?
Yeah, don't be Tyrannosaurus Rex marketing. But
it's true. Like you want your stuff easy to spell, easy to be done, right?
Yeah.
Silver Cash said, "Def stick with black and gray. My family has 50 plus years in the tattoo industry.
Wow.
4 shops, 1 over in the UK, and stick with the artists you love."
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm a black and gray guy. I mean, I don't mind color. I like, as a matter of fact, some of my very, like Paul Ackard is one of my favorite artists, period. And by the way, pull up Paul Ackard Inc.
How do you spell the last name?
Paul.
I know, that's spelled Paul.
Yeah, and then Ackard is like maybe A-R-D, something like that.
A-R-D?
Yeah, if you just say tattoo
or
something like that, he'll come up, I'm sure. Maybe not.
We'll find it. Don't worry.
But, I mean, tattoo. There you go.
Yeah. Ackers, maybe?
How about, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, but it's a good tattoo artist.
He has legitimately got stuff that, like, will blow you the F away. I mean, like, and he's a full color guy, and I would never have his stuff because...
But you appreciate it.
But I love his work. I think he's one of the
I'm the
best
same way. I can't do color, not on me. I think redheads... For some reason, color looks really good. I think because they already have so many colors, right? They have blue, like usually blue or green eyes with red hair.
Yeah, and white.
And white skin. Yeah, so now you just start, real white.
White.
Yeah, like almost translucent.
Yeah, translucent.
So like I think it pops. Like Peter McKinnon has all color tattoos. Think it looks good? Me, not so much.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, black tattoos. That's it.
Yes.
Chad Strickland, her boy, says, if Tiffany wants an all-white leopard gecko, her best bet would be Blazing Blizzards.
Yeah,
we forgot to even talk about
that.
What did we talk about?
Blazing Blizzards are great. I also think that if you get into like the
one we just filmed.
White and yellow, super snow.
Eclipse?
What is it? Eclipse, maybe? Yeah, super snow eclipse. So white and yellow, super snow eclipse are like pure white with black eyes.
And like beautiful eyes,
pure white with black eyes. A little bit better than the Blazing Blizzards, because sometimes the Blazing Blizzards can get a little bit dirty, just a little yellow.
And I don't like that. If I'm getting an all-white animal, I need it to be like pitch white.
But yeah, we have a couple, like white ones. I think that they're called the Universe, if I'm not mistaken, is what the all-white ones are. But yeah, I don't know the names of leopard geckos as well as Jessica does, obviously. But there are some really good white ones. So reach out to us. We've got a couple really good ones.
Silver Cash says, Lori is awesome. Glad she adapts to every idea.
Thank you, Silver Cash. You're killing it tonight too. A couple of you guys
He's
are
been
really,
Silver Cash. Honestly, since we it was funny. We talked to him last podcast, and he's been crushing it. I mean, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate. I mean, listen, you guys are great, and we just. And just so you know, I mean, the money we make obviously goes always goes back into just a bettering
into the
things.
ether.
It's just,
in some
it goes back into bettering things here. It's not like I'm not going out and buying a Rolex.
No, it's like we can
like
whether it's animals or
lenses. Not that there would be anything wrong. The money I make, I could do whatever I want with it, but I just don't really care. I mean, like you said, new toys for the
film crew, so that you guys get new angles and new stuff
or cool things,
new
or
animals
the
to
animals,
film.
or starting. I'm working on 3.0. It's going to be really, listen. I think that. I think 3.0 is going to be at least $400,000.
Oh, at least.
And I think there's a chance that I could blow that budget by $150,000.
Yeah, because remember last time you were over $50K the day after you made your budget.
I didn't even write a check, and it was $50,000 over budget.
Yeah.
And I'm budgeting 400 on this one, and I think that there's a good chance I could be more like 550, 600 on that. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And when you're charging $10 a person to get through the door, and we're not planning on raising our rates to get through the door, it's hard to make up $600,000,
Yeah.
So all these other avenues where I make money, I just put them into stuff like that. So,
it all benefits you in the after.
So I do really appreciate you guys, is what I'm saying. You guys, and I don't want you to think that like you're throwing money at me just because, Brian's rich. He doesn't need more money.
It's like, no, like it helps everything. Believe me, guys, it does.
Thank you guys so much.
Maxaroni and Cheese says, my neighbor just had 3 hand-raised baby Asian short-clawed otters. I live in Wisconsin, so we don't really have any animal laws.
Jesus, can you call me?
Yeah, can you holler at the boys?
Can you message Jay and tell me what's going on. Maybe we can work something out about this.
I got a bathtub we can put them in.
Yeah. Man. 3? We got it right in
it's
one
like
shot.
it's like 3 hand raised.
It's like meant to be, man.
Yeah. And she doesn't need them otters. I'll call the authorities.
No. Yeah, please. If you can get me those 3, I would love you.
Alex says, hey, Brian, I'm getting into breeding green tree pythons. I became friends with Bill Stiegel.
Oh, Bill's great,
He's a good guy, man. Because of your videos, I go over his house at least twice a week to help him out. Couldn't think That's the dude in Texas, right?
Yeah, Bill's a great
I can't wait to see him again, honestly. He was awesome.
He's super. I mean, to have that mentor, you're very blessed, man. I mean, to have a mentor like him, to be able to go over there and spend time and pick his brain, my goodness gracious.
You hit the lotto.
I would have killed for that when I was a kid. Super good dude, man. So just cherish that and don't screw it up.
No,
man.
take good care of that dude.
Yeah, don't screw that one up. Work hard and be it, because trust me, 10 years from now, you will come back and you'll be like, oh my God, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Your success will be predicated on the amount of knowledge and energy that you
siphon
got
from him.
Yeah.
Tanya asks, crocodile skinks, would you ever get and breed them?
Yeah, I've talked about crocodile skinks a bunch before, and the thing is about them is that they hide all the time. They basically disappear in the tank. So I like them. I love them. I think that would be really cool. I think they're one of the more interesting animals for sure. The problem is that from a display standpoint, here at the zoo, we always have to weigh those odds, right? We sometimes go like, this is a really cool animal, but we'll never see them. And so let's not work with them. We want people to come in. I mean, I'm never more frustrated than when I go to a zoo and 9 out of 10 cages look like, oh, those are beautiful cages, and I have no idea where the animal is. I had someone come in this morning, and that's what they said. They said, I love zoos, and they said you go to most zoos and the animals are almost they don't move, or you can't see them. They're stuffed in a log, blah blah. There's like everything here is out and it's moving and it's out. And
take a lot of pride in doing that too.
So crocodile skinks are really really cool animals, but I don't think I would ever personally keep them because of the fact that they thrive the best when you get them into an environment where they'll hide all the time.
Yeah, I might get one personally, but not here. OG Mixes says, hey guys, I have my own lorry project started. No way. I am wondering if you would stay away from any combos. Will you have any more 2020 lorry balls available?
I will not have any more 2020s available. And you would have to tell me what projects to stay away from. And I don't mind seriously trying not to outdo somebody.
Yeah.
I think it's better for everybody if we all kind of do our own thing to some extent. I have a lot of projects going in that in that project already, obviously. But if there's something specific that's like, hey, I want to really pioneer this particular thing, reach out to me. I'll stay away from it. I have no problem with that. There's nothing. about
not doing it for a living. So
I don't need to.
more art.
I don't need to hurt your future. You can make your thing, and hopefully you'll crush it. And if you do good, all it does is push people more to that project, which we have a lot of.
Nick says, "Hey Brian, so glad to catch the podcast live. Quick question: Why is my baby boa constrictor so mean and wants to kill everyone and anything that moves? Because he's a baby boa. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is, baby."
Yeah, so it'll probably 99% of the time it will grow out of it.
Yeah.
So, number one, try to handle it. Even if you have to put gloves on, try to handle it. It's really good for them. The more socialization, the better. The more kind of desensitizing you're doing to them, the better. And building those threads, right, of trust. So when you put that animal back, it goes, all right, that wasn't that bad. This guy's not that bad. And slowly you do it. So baby snakes are small. They're in a big world, and they oftentimes are scary. So, you'll most likely just through time it's going to mellow out, but if you work with it, it's going to mellow out quicker.
For sure. Yeah. And that's true. Get around that face. Try to not get bit.
Yep.
Chad says, last super chat, guys.
Oh my gosh, Chad,
we fly in on Saturday, and then our tour is Monday.
Oh, Monday. Wow.
That's kind of cool in the sense that we'll usually aren't super busy on Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays are good days for
everyone's usually here.
Yeah.
We are, at least.
Yeah, we're here, and it's not like normally crazy,
Yeah, because usually on the weekend it's like you got to go when your tour's done because there's another
just so
one.
much going on,
and then it's open, so we're all rushing around.
If you're in on Saturday, come out Saturday night. Like I said, hopefully VIP room will be ready by then. You can come chill with us, and then if you do some Sunday open hours if you want, whatever you want to do, and we'll be here. And then Monday we'll have a tour. Be great.
Prince, actually, you're going to love this one, brah. He says, do you feel like barometric pressure affects snake breeding behavior and cycle?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. I'm probably the one that started that, to be totally honest with you. I was probably the one that early on had been preaching that for 20 years. I've been preaching barometric. We used to every day, I had a barometric pressure barometer, and every morning I would check the barometric pressure and compare my breeding results. I did that for like 10 years. And I really looked at what the actual copulation, not just copulation, also egg laying and babies being born.
Yeah.
And this goes for humans too, by the way. If you know that humans are born more readily in lower when barometric pressures are low. So females go into labor more frequently when low pressures.
That's why a lot of people are born before big storms, right?
Yeah,
you always hear that, before that big winter storm, that's when you were born, and dad had to come in the. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I never thought about that till just now.
So I've been, like I said, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not trying to take credit of it. Maybe in the 60s someone said it. I have no idea. I just know when I started preaching barometric pressure. And I'm hearing, by the way, I'm seeing a lot more people in the lab, because I think we've done more on it this year than we probably have in the past, talking about there's a snowstorm, we got to get males and females together. But I've seen a lot of other people on Instagram in particular saying there's a storm coming, I got to get males and females together. And I'm I'm glad people are at least listening.
Yeah, exactly. And then Let Rose Burn came back.
She's back again. Hi.
She said, he was raised on kale and mealworms. I've had him for 2 years, but it's a daily struggle. He doesn't he does like carrots and yellow squash. I never tried butternut or yams. I was told they had to be cooked. That's why I asked.
No, we do everything raw like that. And I think that there's really no vegetable you have to stay away from when it comes to bearded dragon. Mine, a lot of times, broccoli's a great option. You could do anything. Bok choy, you can try bok choy. They typically like that if they don't like anything other than kale, if there's no other greens. There's so many different greens. You get dandelion greens are usually amazing for bearded dragons. Probably one of their, almost every bearded dragon seems to like dandelion greens. So try all that type of stuff, and I think you're going to do a lot better with it. And thank you, by the way, for all your super chats tonight.
Blue Salad says, talk to me about Ty Park in Florida. I hear talk of a new reptile zoo. I'll be escaping the polar vortex in Michigan to Florida on Friday.
Yeah, so I don't know that he's open to the public yet. As a matter of fact, I know he's not open to the public yet. Whether or not he's allowing private tours, I don't know. You'd have to reach out to Ty. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm talking by far the largest reptile zoo in the world, by far. It's a primarily outdoor zoo. There'll be one not small, but not very big indoor section. it's going to blow people away. You know,
I can't
blow
wait.
people away. I mean, for me, it's going to be something that I'm going to be super excited about, and I can't wait to get out there. I've been to Ty's place a dozen times and seen kind of the whole thing, and so it's going to be really amazing. Don't know if it's going to be ready when you go there. I know it's been pushed back. Originally, he was going to open up last year, and then some things got pushed. I think I heard May, if I'm not mistaken.
I've heard the same thing.
I think May was when I heard his grand opening was going to be. When we go down there in March, hopefully I'm going to go to Florida. I'm hoping. I will go visit Ty and we'll do a vlog on his place. So you'll get a chance to see what's going on, and we'll get everyone prepped. But it's going to blow some people away. So it's definitely a different philosophy than what I have, right? I have an interactive, immersive experience type of zoo. His zoo is going to be a lot of quantity. I mean, like ridiculous. Probably one of the biggest turtle, collections in the world.
That's crazy.
He's going to have amazing amounts of turtles, tortoises. Obviously, it's called Iguana Land. So iguanas, from Tinosaurus to rhinos and all of the Cyclura, iguana. He's even got like a recordi and I mean he's got some pretty freaking amazing animals down there, and it's going to be I know he's got Parentes and a bunch of other monitors as well. So definitely worth checking in with Ty to see if he'll let you over there. I think he's out in California right now where he lives part-time. Lives part-time in California, part-time in Chicago, and then part-time in Punta Gorda. And that's where it's in Punta Gorda. So check into it. It's worth it. And if you can't get there this time, definitely have to go when he opens up, because it's going to absolutely blow people away.
Scottish Rob says, thoughts of culling a collection due to an outbreak of IBD. Really freaking out about one that may have it, says the vet. Swab tests upcoming soon.
So first off, don't ever think about calling anything until you know for sure, right?
Yeah.
And you can do, I believe there is now, I don't know about the swab test you're talking about. I've never had IBD in my collection. I knew a lot about it. Of course, Elliot Jacobson is one that wrote the book on IBD, and of course it was called Inclusion Body Disease. If there is a swab test for it now, don't call anything till you swab everything, right? Only call the animals that come back positive. But if they come back positive, you probably, the best thing you can do for you, your animals, and your future is to call them. Euthanize them humanely.
Yeah.
Because there's no cure, and it will wipe out every single animal in your collection if you have any vector that transports anything.
Yeah.
So if you get a mite outbreak, you're done. Your collection is going to be over. So be very careful. IBD is very important. But let me just say this before you freak out. A lot of vets don't know what they're talking about.
That's right.
And if you took a spider ball python that had a wobble to a vet, I bet you 9 out of 10 vets would tell you it's IBD, right? So there's a lot of jaguar carpet pythons. There's sometimes other ball pythons, and jaguar carpets, and there's a lot of scoria boas. As a matter of fact, scoria boas, when they were first produced, a lot of people thought that they had IBD and that they almost destroyed the entire colony. And then ultimately they realized that they just had a neurological wobble to them. Okay, so before you freak out, make sure they have IBD, because your vet may be thinking it's IBD and it may not be IBD. A friend of mine who is a dog and cat vet always said that the only thing that's worse than a vet that doesn't know anything about reptiles is a vet that knows a little bit about reptiles, because what their little bit they know is it's IBD, it's Cryptosporidia, it's this, it's it's nidovirus.
Yeah, and they're very confident with that little information.
Yeah, because they know, well, if there's a problem, it's one of these three things.
Yeah.
When it could be one of 100 things, but they don't know enough about reptiles to give you the right answers.
Yep.
So IBD is, I've literally been told by people that have bought animals from me that I took my animal to the vet and it has IBD, and I said, you get a test for IBD, and if it comes back, I will not only pay all of your vet bills, but I'll do whatever you want to do and give your money back, everything else. Every single time there was a test, it came back negative, because I know I've never had IBD. Never. I've had a lot of problems in my collections over the last 33 years. One of them has never been IBD. Thankfully, I've never had IBD. So, but I've had dozens of times people tell me that they got a snake that got IBD from me, and it's always turned out to not be the case. It's always just misinformation from a vet. So don't stress out yet, but do your due diligence.
Silver Cash came back with a $50 banger.
Oh my gosh,
He
geez,
said,
I crushed it tonight.
I know, it's crazy. Appreciate your passion. Stay positive, and we're all human. Glad to see how far you've come since I first started watching, and your crew is awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, thank you for everything tonight. I was, someone had made mention about and it's probably a good thing to do. We've had a lot of, this. So we have some new people in the crew because we've added new positions.
That's right.
So we have more people working for us than we've ever had. So there's some new faces that we haven't really introduced. There hasn't been really any changeover per se since Eric and Mary, which has been a year.
Yeah.
It's literally been almost a year to the day that they left. Since then, no one has quit or been fired. Barring one person, but that was no one really knew that person anyways. Yeah. It was an experiment that didn't work out. And so everyone else is still here, but we've added some new positions, and I think we have 4 or 5 more crew than we had a year ago. So I should probably do a little video about everyone and everyone things, because I think that for the most part, almost everyone here, there's one crew member that we have that's probably, she's going to school, and I'm assuming when she's done with school, she'll move on. Other than that, I think almost everyone in our crew right now will be with us for a long time. And we're going to do everything we do to keep it that way, because we're really, really happy with the crew we have right now.
Rock stars right now.
Rock stars. So we should do that.
Sleeping Lady asks, any more monitor species in the next big expansion? Roughneck could be another fun one for interaction. So common, funny duckbill faces.
Yeah, and thank you again for all your super chats tonight. Yes, I definitely more monitors. 100% more monitors.
Yeah, you can't have enough.
Yeah, we're gonna do some more monitor stuff for sure. Rough throat could be an option. The only concern I'd have about them is really, really sharp claws. They're a tree monitor. And so they'll rip you up pretty good. So I don't know how
might
much.
Not be a good handling animal for them,
but they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're like giant black tree monitors, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really beautiful animals. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but guarantee we'll have a couple more monitor species in the. They're
our favorite for a lot of things.
because I love monitors. Yeah.
Silver Cash again. Always spread the love.
Oh, you're so great. Thank you so much.
Joe says, wife and I are coming Valentine's Day, our annual anniversary trip. I can't wait to finally show you our venom-proof cages in person. Can't wait to see how. I remember
we talked about
that too.
We talked about him. Yep, and I think I actually might even sent a picture or two. So I'm very interested. So we'll see you next week, Saturday. It's going to be a banger out here at the Reptarium, because we're sold out like 2 weeks in advance.
I know,
it was crazy how quickly that day everyone does. And of course, if you want, you can buy a Valentine card, a customized Valentine card. We have them. We have Bella, Salt, Ivy, and Drogo cards available. You can look at the link in the descriptions on any of the recent videos.
Beautiful.
They're only $5.
I know, and it's a great idea. I would get one just to color.
Yeah.
You don't even need a lover or something. Like, if you want to color something adorable that has to do with the Reptarium, you got it.
Yep. So you can buy them with already colored or black and white, so you can color them yourself.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So it's awesome.
What is this? Saturnine says, at work, popping in just to say hi and glad to at least catch some of the live. Hope your weekend is going great.
Well, I hope you are too, and I hope your work's going well. Appreciate you popping in.
Oh, disappeared on me.
You guys have crushed the super chats today, by the way. I appreciate you guys so much. And it's been great because we've just been able to do a Q&A, and I haven't had to ramble about stuff that doesn't matter to you guys.
Rosie says, everything matters to them, Brad. Rosie says, hi, Brian and Jay. Love all of you guys. Do you think my Savannah kitten will grow out of trying to eat me? Probably not. It's a cat. And it's a wild cat.
They're amazing. It depends on what generation it is, too, though. You know,
probably I would assume F5 or later.
Yeah, if it's an F5 or later, it should chill out. If it's an F1 or 2,
I've had some regular house cats that want to kill people forever.
Yeah, that's true too. Cats are cats, man.
Yo,
that's what makes
question
them so
for you. So last time we went to Sequest, obviously they got all those Bengal cats.
Yeah.
Do you think they have a Bengal cat connect? Because they have the same in every Sequest.
I'm sure they do. I could reach out.
Can you reach out for me? Because I'm like,
sure.
I need an animal right now, dude. I need a fluffy buddy.
I need a Bengal.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm like,
freaking serval, man.
See, that's what I really want, but I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, so I think it'll fuck my day up.
Yeah, just
dude, have you seen how hard they hit?
Oh my god!
Like with their paws. I watched this girl on TikTok playing with one, and I'm telling you, it hit like Mike Tyson, bro.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
bow. I was like, oh my God.
I bet you beat Jake Paul up.
Ooh, daddy.
Call that Jake Paul out.
Simple Man says, glad Pickles ate again. How many eggs do they normally have?
Yeah, so Pickles is obviously a green tree python, and I'm glad she ate too because I think she needs a little bit more weight before she ovulates.
Yeah.
She would probably have about 15 eggs right in that range at her size.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, a big clutch is 20 eggs. A small clutch is 10 eggs.
Still great.
Yeah.
Skittle says, oh my God, baby otters. I'm looking into owning a serval. Look at that.
Look at that. How weird is that? Yeah, we're just talking about servals. So that's dope. That's
Silver
awesome.
Cash is crushing it. He threw another 50, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Jesus Christ. I almost feel bad, It's like I appreciate
he's crushing, and he hit me up on Instagram the other day. He's a nice dude, man. So I appreciate
you, man.
OG says, thank you for the kind words. I have stayed away from the combos you have done, and I have seen, hopefully, it proves to be a powerhouse down the line.
Well, listen, I think it will, and like I said, feel free to email me or message Jay or whatever, and tell me which way you're going, and I can tell you if we've already started to work down that path, and if we haven't started to work down that path, I'll just stay away from it.
Yeah,
it's easy. The path I'm working on is pretty simple. I mean, it's just we're doing what we're doing, and it's not like we want to get it into every single mutation out there or anything like that. I think it can be, and I think it will be, and I think it'll add a layer to every mutation.
Yeah, I think it adds a much deeper layer than a lot of other stuff too, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that Cine Banana lorry, that's just a lorry. It's not a super lorry, right?
That's just.
Could you imagine what that's going to look like?
Really cool. And that's what I'm saying. When you get into the normal lorry stuff, can really with certain combos is really interesting, and then you get into the super stuff, and it just blows your mind, So there's so many avenues that I will not go down because I'm limited, man. I'm going the opposite way. I'm not growing my collection. I'm reducing collection to make more room for Reptarium, so I can't work a million projects like some people can, or like I.
But we
want
to see how they turn out.
But but I want to see people take that project. I'm glad people have finally gotten the fire under that project, and I know some people are going to do some great things with it that I haven't done, and I'm not at all mad about that. I think it's great.
Saturn 9 came back and said, hopefully you'll be around at the end of May. My 5-year-old would love a tour with you. Brian, gotta go. Yeah. Work. Have a good night, everybody.
Absolutely. And I should be around at the end of May. I don't expect to go anywhere. I don't expect to be. I'll be here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't think we got anything crazy going on, right? Oh. Potterhead says, can we please get Jessica on the podcast?
Yeah, we had her on once. The checking.
Oh yeah, she
podcast.
said back on. My bad.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd like to get her back on for sure. She's a wealth of knowledge and really, really dedicated, great worker. She's the backbone of a lot of things that happen around here, and she's really stepped up her game recently with decorating.
Oh my God. I mean, it's every day she's doing a project.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm asking her like, hey, can you do this? She's taking it on her own. And that's one of the things we love about her is she takes initiative. She does her own thing. And she's been with us a long, long time. And I hope that she'll be with us for a long time to come.
Scottish Rob says, I wouldn't call without confirmation. It's in a BOA collection. Yeah. Things to look at other than IBD for cause. Thanks for the response.
Well, again, you can have neurological issues, and it can come either from genetics, or it could come even from overheating at some point. They can have neurological issues, and they can also get it from like overtreatment of mite spray and stuff like that. So you can have the same exact symptoms as IBD from other causes, right? Yeah. But like I said, that's not to say that they're not. And a BOA collection is scary because that's really where IBD starts, is typically with BOAs. Now BOAs can live a long life with IBD and be asymptomatic, but still spread. So then it's up to you if you want to, isolate and take the risk of having asymptomatic IBD animals around, knowing that there's a ticking time bomb if something happens and it gets to another part of your collection. That's a tough call. It really is. I personally don't want IBD in my collection, but definitely, like you said, just make sure and don't overreact. You don't know until you know, and make sure you know, and make sure you're getting the tests from the right person. If you can reach out to some, like I said, I don't know if Elliot Jacobson's still doing stuff, but he was the head of veterinary medicine down at the University of Miami, I believe. Cool. And so that would be the person to reach out to find out where they're at with testing and in the accuracy of the test at that point too.
Silver Cash came back, like I said, and said, make it awesome, Valentine's.
Man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, Rosie said that it's an F5. So that's like on the border, too.
Yeah,
that's
so
like
that's- yeah,
right
that's-
between
yeah.
being wild and domestic. So
Yeah, F5. They say F5 is kind of like the best one, right?
Yep, I
because
agree.
it's usually domesticated enough, but it has enough serval in it to still
be badass.
Yeah, still seem crazy, you know. So
yeah, you'll probably get eaten. So good luck out there, Rosie.
yeah, right.
Maxaroni said, I'll definitely hit up Jay about the otters. He usually has babies 2 to 3 times a year. He has a lot of other stuff. I almost thought it said otter stuff. Other stuff, but the otters are so cute. Utterly adorable.
Utterly adorable. Yes, please hit us up. Please hit us up because that's a must.
And like that's like just seems too like it's just like how with Drogo, right? Like Jay's like, oh, I actually know a lady that with a sloth.
It's like
how does it
just
happen?
works out perfect. Yeah.
And then Silver Cash said, definitely enjoy the love and support. Keep staying awesome. We love you too, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
love
you.
you, man. Definitely. Thank you.
That's it, baby.
Wow, what a day, huh, man? That was a crazy.
That's a good ending to a crazy day, huh?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for killing it with the questions today. You made my life easy. I had a great time. I feel less anxious now than I did when I started, so thank you for that. And it is because of you guys making me feel so good. So thank you guys. Love you so much. And I can't thank you enough for everything. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. Again,
that's right.
Vlogging until then. We'll see you Wednesday on the podcast. Show Noah some love over on Choices, as well as his videos are doing really well right now. So please go show him some love. And hopefully we can see you guys at the Reptarium sometime and just keep this going. So any last things or no?
I think I'm all good. Just
Okay,
peace,
cool.
love, and
all right, man. You
enjoy your
guys
night.
have a good night. Love you guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. We'll be here at the Reptarium watching it on some TVs while we're going here. So peace out. I love you guys.
Bye. It's a banger, huh?